Only PGA Tour champion stop in the Pacific Northwest and see golf's biggest stars. Grab the whole family and come on down to join the action. It's a golf experience you won't want to miss. The Boeing Classic at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge from August 9th through the 11th. For $20 tickets, visit BoeingClassic.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of manager.
It doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Saul.
Well, not good. Not good at all. Really, really not good. Good morning, everyone. I guess I'm breaking my trend more. I'm saying good morning. Mike Lefko here with you. Brock will be gallivanting in at 7 a.m. Yes, that's a word I learned you guys use on this show now. Gallivanting in.
That might have been Pete or Peter on our
that was,
voice memos last week.
Voice memos, right, which we're doing at 8 a.m.,
yes.
which is, I learned. So here's the thing, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I was going to set up the segment by saying, so here's the thing. I learned what so here's the thing is. But Maura, It wasn't great. It was very discouraging. And I, of course, am talking about that driving in this morning, it was pitch black out.
Yeah.
It was not light anymore.
That's only started happening within like the last week or so, I think.
Well, that's a fun discovery.
When I get up this early in the morning, it's starting to be dark again because it was light out already, which is very nice.
Yes.
Especially when I have to walk my dog. But, that's fading.
And
Sorry.
the last time I filled in, it was bright, it was sunny, I drove in all excited, and now I woke up and discovered, no, that's not the case anymore. No 5:30 a.m. pickleball sessions, no beautiful sunlight
You're
early
a freak
on.
for that. The one good thing about thinking that summer might be starting to fade, even though it just got here, is that football will be just around the corner.
Literally tonight.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Need to know. The Hall of Fame game is tonight, so your first football game is happening. But yes, I kind of jokingly said all that stuff not good relating to, the sunlight and it being dark. But I think we all know what we're talking about here. The Mariners' end to that series in Boston, that was discouraging, to say the least. And it puts kind of a sour end on what had been a pretty positive Tuesday. When you talk about the trade deadline, realizing, all right, the Mariners, they made their moves. They came out in pretty good shape. It paid off in a very nice win on Tuesday night. I thought we were going to have a football series because we had, 14-6 and then 10-6. So it felt like an entire football series. But then back to that low-scoring game, back to the one-run game. And what's most discouraging, and I think what's almost a little concerning more, is the fact that all these close games now, the Mariners are losing. And for the past few years, when they had made the playoffs or been in contention, that one-run record had gotten so much scrutiny. Because in 2021 and 2022, it was absurdly good. In 2023, it wasn't. And then this year, it started off really well. They were 19-9 in one-run games, and now 7 straight losses.
Really?
In their last one-run game. Saying one run, by the way, many times is very difficult. But in their last 7 one-run games, they've lost all of those. Wow. And that's tough to stomach.
Yeah.
That's just a tough one.
That's probably indicative of where the offense has been at for most of that time. And it felt like we were talking yesterday about the optimism of Randy Arozarena and Justin Turner coming right when Polanco's getting going and Victor Robles is just out of nowhere on a heater. And now I'm a little bit concerned that those guys are banged up. Like you're starting to find some chemistry, and you just don't want to. You've already got JP and Julio out. It's starting to feel a little bit like it's just hard for them to find the right mix and be able to keep that on the field.
And it's just one after the other. When is this going to stop? Because you just rattled off all those names. Those are 4 of the most important bats in your lineup. Not to mention that Cal Raleigh is not 100%. I mean, we see him every game deal with some kind of either fouling a pitch off his foot twice in a row, which had to be incredibly painful, getting hit by his own pitcher when a ball bounced.
Yeah.
And then, if he gets hit by a pitch. But catchers get hit all the time, and we know how much Cal Raleigh plays through. So Scott Service mentioned it last week after that Wednesday home finale. that he wasn't feeling great, and that was before he had fouled off 2 pitches off his foot. Then we saw what happened on Monday when that ball kind of bounced and hit his right hand, his throwing hand. So Raleigh's always playing through injuries. It was pretty impressive what came out after the 2022 season when he was playing with. Add that onto the list of Julio's out, Polanco's out, Rojas is out, JP is out until it sounds like, September at least. So there's a lot of concern in this lineup because you didn't have a lot of meat on the bone to begin with, and you're dealing with guys who are undeniably important to this team. And that's where it comes down to. I think I kind of had this crystallizing realization more when I sat in the never-ending, ceaselessly long traffic from Renton back to Ballard, which is a drive I would not recommend. But c'est la vie from Ballard to training camp because it's fun being out there despite what, I know was productive for the Seahawks yesterday, but from a standing out there watching standpoint, there was not a lot to glean from being out there for an entire practice yesterday. It was helpful. I know they needed to, recover after a couple days of padded practices and just kind of get the fundamentals down. So Brock and I will dig into that a little bit more. But as I pondered life and that Mariners loss on the way back, I just kind of realized it's not that a lot of teams have significantly better lineups 1 through 9 than the Mariners, and that's going to sound weird, and texters, don't jump all over me for a second. I know the Mac and Jack's text line's fire, and I'll explain this. It's that the key core bats for these teams, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Red Sox in this series, they are consistently producing when the Mariners are not. Look at the Red Sox lineup yesterday. You can find 3 or 4 guys in there that are essentially guys you could get off the street. But Dominic Smith, that's a guy in any Boston bar. Who else was on that lineup? There are guys that you have never heard of. The problem is, the reason they won, look at what their 3 big bats did. Duran, Yoshida, Devers.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That is the difference right there. Duran, 5 for 13, RBI in the series. Yoshida, you couldn't retire him for the first couple games, 5 for 12, drove in 4. Devers literally won the game yesterday, 7 for 13, 5 runs driven in. That's all you need. You need those 3, and that's it. And the Mariners don't have that. And they haven't had that consistently all year. You had stretches where, Julio had picked up the offense and Cal did. And for a little bit, it looked like those two would do it at the same time. But I think you need a core of 3 to 4 consistently and then those other contributions. Because this isn't to say that, hey, you take Cal and Julio and Polanco and they can handle the brunt of it. You get those guys and then you get your contributions, like a Rojas home run, like an RBI to tie the game elsewhere, but you're going to find your core and have them carry you. So I know there's a lot of complaints about the lineup, and rightfully so, because the offense is one of the worst in baseball, but you don't have to have 1 through 9 dominant. You don't have to have every single guy be an impact bat. You just need those key pieces, which, hey, it seems like Turner and a Rosarena, they could be, and then that core produce. And I don't think the Mariners have seen a stretch like that in the past, month plus?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why they went and got Turner and a Rosarena at the deadline, is they felt like they did just need like a couple of guys that can ease the burden and get the ball in play a little bit more, and that would make things better. But yeah, we got to stop having guys drop like flies right now. Are you more concerned with the offense and getting everybody healthy back out there, or the bullpen? Because that's a little bit of a concern right now too, especially with Santos leaving hurt again yesterday.
Yeah, and for the second time in a week. So it's a good question because it's almost a little of both. But I think because of how this team is constructed and how their identity is to rely on the bullpen when they have the lead, if your bullpen isn't providing that because of injuries, because you don't have as much depth, because guys aren't available, the health of the bullpen becomes a bigger concern for me. The lineup, for any team, right? You take 3 key guys off the lineup and they're injured, you're not going to do anything. So I'm just anticipating that Julio is going to come back, and we should get an update on him tomorrow because his 10 days, at least on the IL, are done. He is eligible to come off of that. Now, I know Justin Hollander mentioned last homestand that they'd evaluate him when they got back, and usually day 1 of the homestand, you get an injury update. So Justin Hollander, I assume, will give an injury update either tomorrow or early on in this homestand about Julio. Yeah, you need him to come back, and I'm just kind of assuming Julio's coming back, and then I'm less concerned about the lineup. But if that drags on for weeks, then yeah, that becomes the biggest issue out of two kind of big issues right now. So I don't know. That's not a good question, Maura. Why are we doing this so early in the morning?
No.
I was going to have some fun today.
Can't we just have smooth sailing?
It's going to be a great day later. Get out on the water. That's what I enjoy about this show. You know, we get done early. I'm very envious of you guys for getting done early. Don't envy the waking up early part. But the being done at 10 a.m. is kind of nice. So we will talk a little bit more about those injuries. Certainly that loss yesterday. I know there was a lot of debate about pitching to Devers. And yeah, we'll get into that as well. Brock will join us at 7. Trey Brown will join us at 7:45. I love talking to Trey Brown. He is one of the most knowledgeable, insightful cornerbacks I think I've ever encountered, and he always is a good conversation. So that's coming up at 7:45. A lot still to get to with Seahawks training camp, with the Mariners coming home and taking on the Phillies, by the way. We have a couple days to talk about that, but yeah, that's not a soft landing on your return home. So we'll get into that and plenty more. But up next, yeah, we'll catch you up on all those injuries and a key thing that happened yesterday at Seahawks practice. That's in everything you need to know. Brock and Salk here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
With new leadership, the Seahawks are ready to get to work. Seattle Sports will be at Seahawks headquarters, taking you onto the field with the team. Interviews, analysis, and exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage as Gino and the Hawks get ready for the 2024 season.
Ball picked up. Witherspoon comes near side. He is in. Witherspoon with the interception for a touchdown.
Training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton on your home for the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
Megadeth. Destroy all enemies tour. With Mudvayne. August 12th, White River Amphitheater. Special guest, All That Remains. Megadeth. On sale now at livenation.com. Megadeth with Mudvayne.
4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients in our community. Join us at Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 18th at the Golf Club at Newcastle for an afternoon of hope and inspiration. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 18th at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
To celebrate Team USA going for gold, Xfinity is offering a gold medal deal now through August 11th. Get their best offer yet with 300 megabit Xfinity internet and 1 line of unlimited mobile for just $35 a month for a year and a free 5G phone. And the action doesn't stop there. Save on some of the biggest names in streaming by adding the new Xfinity Stream Saver with Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $15 a month. And don't wait, because when the Olympic Games end, so does this deal. So go to Xfinity.com/Team USA, call 1-800-XFINITY, or go visit a store today. Get the fastest connection to Paris, only with Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply to internet and mobile. Stream Saver price subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Free 5G phone requires eligible trade-in. Select models only, but make the call and don't wait to 1-800-XFINITY.
Hear that? The sound of your antique fountain pen gliding across linen paper as you journal in the park. And if you were here, you'd be inspired by the warm breeze. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. And the wind in your face on the road is all the inspiration you need. So if you ride, get a quote and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Now that's inspiring. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Sometimes it's hard to make time for the things that keep you healthy, but being consistent with self-care is like working a muscle. And when life gets crazy, that muscle keeps you strong. Therapy is the ultimate self-care, and BetterHelp makes it easy to get started with affordable online sessions so you can do it from anywhere. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/like today to get 10% off your first month.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Summer's here and it's time for you to put yourself in the game. But you don't have to do it alone. Come visit the incredible showroom and the all-star team at Toyota of Kirkland. With a large selection of over 70 brand new Tundras and Tacomas on the lot, you'll be able to test drive one and take it home the same day. And don't forget about that lifetime powertrain warranty. Now that's how you become the MVP. Come in today or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com. toyotaofkirkland.com. Tired of slow play? Kickstart your day with an early round of golf. Get a round in before work with early morning light and faster pace of play. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, there's a premier course near you. Play Interbay, Jackson Park, Jefferson Park, West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter E. Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, Ocean Shores, or the Crossroads Par 3. The courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Go to premiergolfcenters.com to book your tee time today.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, we knew that Victor Robles had to be taken out of Tuesday night's game with a nagging hip issue. Now we know the injury list has filled up even more for the Mariners. Scott Service yesterday after the game on what happened to both Jorge Polanco and Gregory Santos.
Polo's been struggling with the knee issue here the last couple days, and really affecting him today, certainly on defensively, just reacting to balls, and you can start to notice it in the batter's box too, and I don't want to lose him to lose any momentum, what he's had offensively, so I decided to get him out of the game. Santos, arm issue, kind of a bicep issue. We'll get an MRI on that when we get back tomorrow and kind of see where that's at. So, you need all these guys, but there's things you have to grind through, and there's adversity, whether it's through injuries or whatnot, but at the end of the day, we are competing very well. Like what I saw. I just need the big hits today, and we didn't get them.
The Santos one, a little concerning, especially considering he left after just 9 pitches yesterday. And that comes a week after exiting in the 8th against the Angels with a right knee injury. So for a bullpen kind of deprived of high leverage arms, this is a guy that you're certainly going to need over the final 2 months of the regular season. The bullpen was very thin yesterday. We'll get some additional reinforcements now they're back home in Seattle. JT Chargois should join the team. So you have the off day, you have the start of the series, you have some reinforcements in the bullpen, but it is a pretty banged up Mariners team right now with Robles, Polanco, Santos, and also JP and Julio. And as I mentioned, we should get an update on Julio's high ankle injury either tomorrow or early on in this homestand. The Mariners begin this series against the Phillies.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Seahawks also dealing with an injury. All right, not gonna stir up a panic here. This one is significantly more minor. Geno Smith, not out at practice yesterday, was just resting after 2 days in pads, help with a sore knee and hip. The practice itself, he didn't miss much. It was just a walkthrough, and the Seahawks dubbed it ACT, or Alignment, Communication, and Technique. we'll let Devin Witherspoon explain what was happening yesterday.
Focus more is mental, just getting mental reps and going through the walkthrough, just trying to make sure we're correcting everything we need to correct. And just focus on what we need to focus on. Just taking off the pads and stuff, just giving our body a break. But now we just got to activate our mental part of that. So.
Yeah, it was much different. I'll talk about Brock with this, certainly, to see how they did things like that, because for the first time in a while, at least in a practice setting. Now, I know they have walkthroughs. You have walkthroughs every day, essentially, and then you have a walkthrough before a game. But in the context of OTAs or mini camp or training camp so far, they have never been without helmets until yesterday. Now, you don't have every practice be a padded practice, but there were no helmets. They walked out in their practice jerseys, which was also a big departure because we know Mike McDonald stresses the importance of kind of treating it like a game day. So even in practices, the Seahawks had been wearing their game day jerseys. That was not the case yesterday. It was a true walkthrough, trying to make sure everything was in order. There is a lot that has to go into with technique, with communication, and the defense was very active, very talkative in communicating a lot of switches and things that had to happen in certain formations. So I know it was an important day, but it was a very contact-free day. It was not half speed. It was just a walkthrough. So it was more important for other aspects of that team. DK Metcalf, we'll hear some stuff from him, but yes, for a guy like a veteran receiver like a DK or a Geno, probably not the biggest issue that they weren't out there. In the case of DK, that it was just more of a walkthrough and a nice day to kind of rest up after 2 days of padded practices. There were a couple other roster moves for the Hawks yesterday as well. They signed defensive tackle Rodney Matthews out of Ohio State, released linebacker Easton Gibbs, along with signing running back Kyrie Robinson. They also released Ricky Persons Jr. with an injury settlement.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, all that to say, we do have a real NFL game tonight. A real preseason NFL game tonight. The Hall of Fame game kicks off tonight at 5 o'clock. Yes, it's August 1st, and we have a football game between two opposing teams, the Bears and the Texans. So this is an additional preseason game. Everyone plays 3. The Bears and Texans are playing 4, and because of that, you're not going to see much. I know it's a showcase. It's game 1 of the NFL slate and of this preseason, but both the Bears and the Texans announced that they're not playing any of their starters, so no Caleb Williams. Brock, I'm sure, will still watch to see the Tyson Bagent show, as will all the football diehards out there and the Bears fans and the Texans fans. No CJ Stroud either. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think this has been announced because I was kind of digging through all the Bears Twitter and Bears media info. I think you might see Rome Odunze. They said starters, and I know Odunze is expected to be a starter, so don't take that as verbatim. Like, if they don't have Rome Odunze out there, don't text in tomorrow. Maura, I don't want text in tomorrow. You're going to be here. I don't want people to text in and say, Lefko said.
We have an interesting day tomorrow.
That's right. You're with Curtis. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
You'll
hosting
be on the
Bump and
text line.
Stacy with Curtis, and the Marine Layer guys are in again tomorrow.
All right, so none of us are going to be here tomorrow morning, so don't text in. Lefko said that Rome Odunze is playing. I said, if you want to watch, if there's some reason to potentially watch tonight, there might be a Rome Odunze sighting because the Bears have said their starters aren't playing, which means like DJ Moore, who signed a big contract, or Caleb Williams, obviously. Maybe you do see a rookie who they're trying to get some playing time. I don't know. Perhaps not, because they have 3 preseason games after this, but that could be a situation where if you need a reason to watch, Rome Odunze might be around. As for the actual Hall of Fame class, the reason these two teams are playing, well, 3 former Bears are going in: Julius Peppers, Devin Hester, and Steve McMichael. Andre Johnson will be inducted as well for the Texans. So those are some football things you need to know. One more thing that was pretty entertaining: Katie Ledecky. Her dominance continued yesterday. She had a 10.3 second margin of victory in the 1,500 meter freestyle, her 8th gold medal of her career. And Maura, I think the most entertaining part is watching how NBC struggles to fit the other competitors in the screen.
I think it's better that way.
It's
you
hilarious.
Realize, at one point, I actually, like, out of the corner of my eye, thought someone was coming, and I realized it was that underwater camera that they have in the pool.
So what they had
saw
to
a
do,
shadow.
they finally did. They went to people were joking about this, that they went to the all 22 look. So they went to the big zoomed out camera shot of the entire swimming area, the natatorium, I guess what you call a swimming place. And then you could see how far back everyone was. But in that normal shot you usually see during a broadcast of a swimming event, Ledecky was always by herself. And in fact, she's swimming like the other way, it looks like. She's so far in front.
Like lapping them.
The other competitors haven't even made that turn for one of their laps, and she's all the way at the end about to finish. Yeah, her dominance is unreal. She won her 8th gold medal and is always highly entertaining. Men's basketball, U.S. men had significantly less trouble with South Sudan. They took them down 103-86 to improve to 2-0 in pool play, and they take on Puerto Rico on Saturday, and that is everything you need to know. Our training camp coverage also, we're talking Seahawks, and I know we got a couple other shows out there today, but our training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton. You guys will be back out there on Monday, so stay tuned for that. We will talk to Trey Brown coming up at 7:45, so that'll be an entertaining conversation. But up next, Brock and so I'll catch up with Jerry Dipoto to talk about this trade deadline and where the Mariners go from here. That's coming up. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball.
That baby is out of here!
Every strikeout.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Bryce Miller caps his day of 7 scoreless.
Every home run.
Goodbye baseball, he did it! Julio Rodriguez!
Every Mariners win.
And Mitch Haniger, just like the old days! He wins it for the Mariners in the 10th inning!
Stream every game at seattlesports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports.
You have to have a high level of trust. As much as I love to think that they trust me, yeah, our family name is trusted, but it's because of those individual interactions with our people that those folks have had over the years. That's where they build their trust with the relationship.
Todd Johnson believes it can take a lifetime to earn someone's trust and just 5 minutes to lose it.
When someone walks in off the street, they don't necessarily are just going to hand you their trust. You've got to prove that you've earned it and deserve it, and then they'll open up to you. And so if a customer doesn't treat you great right away, that's okay. It's just because they've heard all these horror stories. Fixing the car might only be 10% of the story. They want to be heard. They want to feel valued. They want to feel understood. And if all you did was fix their car, then you probably didn't do your job.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Get ready for a night of fastballs and fairy tales. Mariners Family Favorites Fireworks is coming up Friday, August 9th. The Mariners are squaring off against the New York Mets, and after the game, don't miss out on a dazzling display featuring beloved songs from the animated movies you know and love. It's your chance to bring the whole family and experience a memorable evening of Mariners magic.
Has he done it again? He does! Cal Raleigh has homered from both sides of the plate.
Visit Mariners.com to get your tickets and catch 2 great shows for the price of 1. Mariners baseball and a fireworks spectacular. Plus, check out what's on deck at T-Mobile Park all summer long, including a Tridents Up t-shirt giveaway Saturday, August 10th, presented by Zato, and more fireworks nights presented by T-Mobile.
Go on a grand slam for J.P. Crawford! He comes up big again!
Mariners baseball, Tridents Up.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Need Friday night plans? Enjoy live music and salsa dance lessons at Pier 62, courtesy of Dancing Till Dusk. 6 to 8:30 p.m. All ages are welcome for this free event. Live music and salsa dancing at Pier 62, Friday night, August 2nd. Visit waterfrontparkseattle.org to sign up and for information on more free events at Pier 62 happening all summer. The new Seattle waterfront is being built for you, so come and enjoy it. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
With new leadership, the Seahawks are ready to get to work. Training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton on your home for the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. In the past 5 years, we've seen thousands of men at our clinics. Most guys tell us the same story, that in their early 50s, it's not that they couldn't function, they just needed help. They started taking Viagra, and it worked great at first. But after a few years, it stopped working. The problem is that their arteries had become more restricted since they started taking it, because Viagra does not unclog arteries. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to target the real problem. We break down plaque and clear up the arteries so blood can flow like it did in your 20s. This restores function. And guys, listen to this. You won't have to take a pill anymore. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, Bob Stelton here, and have you heard that metal roofs are all the rage? A metal roof lasts longer, it's more eco-friendly, and is a great option for adding solar panels. Asset Roofing is leading the local push in metal roofing, and they can even offer metal roofs for up to 30% less than their competitors. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Head to assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Public transparency is for other Bobs. Did you know Attorney General Bob Ferguson's office averaged 80 days to respond to public records requests? 78 days more than the average Washington government office. Can you afford that type of response from your governor as a Washington voter? You heard it here first. Bob wants you to vote Bob because he doesn't have time to respond to you. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors, Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Fun time of the year to be a radio host in sports here in Seattle with the Mariners. Playing some good baseball again, which is nice. Big trades that they made, of course, here at the deadline. And then, obviously the Seahawks starting their training camp and getting ready for their first preseason game. With all of that as a background, excited to talk to Jerry Dipoto today, Mariners president of baseball operations, and a guy who probably slept better last night than at any point in the last week or so. Jerry, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, fellas.
Sleep well last night, post deadline, no more trades, no more GMs to call, or you're done. This is it. This is the team now moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be called sleeping well, but I slept. And it was a fun week, and especially the last 4 or 5 games, especially this road trip, seeing us put together some offense, adding some new faces to the crowd, and it's been a lot of fun for our entire group to get a little bit more creative and try to mix up our offense, and I feel like we did.
So it's interesting. I'll come back to that word that you just used, fun, because I've heard you use it a couple of times, and it seems pretty clear in watching this lineup in the last couple of days that they're having fun and they look a whole lot more fun to watch. Which was more important to you at the deadline, fun factor or guys that were hot? Because obviously both Arozarena and Justin Turner were red hot coming in. What was most important to you?
The hot part certainly helps. We were ice cold going into this road trip, and finding hitters who were in tune with their swing, who were going good, was definitely something that was important to us. But we really wanted to inject some life into our team. We had a really rough month leading into this road trip, coming out of the All-Star break. And we knew something needed to change, or I guess something needed to give. And Randy Arozarena brings life, and Justin Turner brings experience and just a clubhouse presence. And when you get to meet Jimmy Garcia, he is a very outgoing, fun to be around guy. And we know JT Chagua from years past, and he fits our group. It's the fun factor certainly increased, but I guess more importantly, having guys who, like you saw last night, can put the ball in play, can drive in the big run, can do the little thing that gets the team rolling, and and can lift the team up a little bit, because I think we needed it, and hopefully that's what we got.
Jerry, you've told us in the past and talked us through how long sometimes these trades are and come into play. And with the Luis Castillo, I mean, it was years that you guys had kind of looked at him and wondered if there would be, through Miami and then ultimately Cincinnati, a way to get a deal done. Had there been a lot of background done on Arozarena over the last year plus?
We do our background on virtually every player in the league, and that goes for players that are on major league rosters, just in professional baseball. We do a pretty thorough job scouting at every level. So, we knew Randy. I don't want to say we have a book, but we have a fair bit of information about him as a player, his strengths, his weaknesses, him as a person, where he fits. We have players who've played with him and, tap into that resource at the appropriate times. But this trade deadline was, and I had mentioned it the last time we spoke, just a little different than most others, or any other I can remember, really, in that it didn't develop until really late in the game. And you truly had no idea who would be among the named players, who would truly be available. And, it wasn't until a few days before we actually acquired him that we knew for sure that Randy was actually going to be made available.
Is he a guy that you had talked to them about before?
Oh, yeah. We've talked about Randy Arozarena with the Rays, as you might expect. We talked with the Rays a fair bit. And, he's a player. He's a good player. And we've talked to him about him with them numerous times over the years. And obviously this one was considerably more serious and ultimately landed him in Seattle.
Do you guys have a standing conference call or something? Like every Tuesday you just meet with the Rays and kind of discuss if there's any deals you guys want to do?
No, it's funny. It's that baseball conversations are a weird thing. And this goes for players, for managers. I'm assuming it goes for members of the media who spend their time around baseball. You could have a conversation on a Tuesday in 2022 and see somebody in spring training 2024 and pick up right where you left off. And, that's kind of where we are with the Rays. Is we don't speak every day, but we have a general, feel for where they're at and what they're trying to do, and the same for them with us. And they're not the only team like that. We've developed really strong relationships with a number of different front office groups around the league, and it just gives you a sense for who you're going to be able to match up with or line up with. And they have a lot of good players, and they do a wonderful job of scouting and developing, and they're a team that's been to the postseason numerous consecutive seasons with a lot of the players that were made available over the last week. And frankly, the congestion in the American League playoff chase drove this down to the later stages in the deadline, like we expected it would.
I know with the draft and with the deadline and all of this, it's always bonkers. You tell us your schedule and it's like 12 months every day. You're really, really busy. But I do wonder if you now have maybe on a road trip a little bit of margin to watch a show or watch something. Have you gotten an opportunity yet, or will you in any way want to watch the Hard Knocks? And have you ever watched the Hard Knocks football stuff they put together, Jerry?
Never have. I'm going to watch a baseball game here in a couple hours and then go lay down.
Yeah. Well, this one was really cool. And I actually told Salk about it and said it's kind of gotten tired, and training camp's one thing, but this is all on the background. This is all on the team building of the Giants. This is like the focal points, actually, the general manager, wouldn't you say, Salk?
Yeah.
In their personnel department and their recruiting and their staff and all that process that goes into it. And it's pretty fascinating to see him do what you just said, get on the phone and make a call about a trade or the possibility of adding somebody. If we were around and there were cameras there with you and Justin over the last week, how much time and phone time is there with you guys as this thing proceeded and ultimately ended yesterday with the deadline?
I would say a ton, but I will also say that there's quiet time in between calls depending on the day. And, with the way we start the deadline is Justin and I will split up the league and just make our first, canvassing where we'll check in with each of the teams and find out what their general mindset is. And we did that right before our draft meetings began. to get a sense for where teams are. And, you intuitively know in a baseball season that nobody, once you get past let's call it mid-May, it is very hard to do singular trades for players you've ever heard of until you get to the deadline. And most of the transactions between, those dates are typically, waiver claims. They're smaller deals. You don't really see mover and shaker types happen until closer to the deadline. And, once we come out of those draft meetings, now it picks up and we're on the phone with multiple teams a day. Sometimes, it could be a dozen teams checking in with where we are, who's available. And this one was even more, I guess, sensitive in that way, and that so many of the teams, like you've seen, the Rays were, a 500 team just a couple of days into the trade deadline process. And it could have gone either way for them. They win 3 in a row and they might hang in, and they lose 3 in a row the other way. And it was just that kind of deadline. And I think the best players that moved, in my opinion, position players, were from Tampa. So fortunately, we were in tune with them at a very early stage.
That's a good question that came in on the text line. How many times a day do you have to charge your phone this week?
I bring the extra battery pack, and we have a community charging cord that we keep on the table in our war room, and yell at each other when we're getting low.
That's funny. I heard you say yesterday that there ended up being, I think your quote was, more smoke than fire with some of the biggest names that had been rumored around the league moving, or in this case, not moving. Why do you think that happened?
I think it happened because the teams, first of all, in some instances, they just didn't want to trade the player. and I think as much as fans want what they want, the other team has to want to trade that player. And some of these instances were driven by that. And in others, players who might have been available, their teams charged back into the pennant chase, and they weren't available. And frankly, never were. That's part of every market. This market, like I said, was considerably more, I guess, acute in that way. We had 21 of the 30 teams within, I think, 4 games of a playoff spot on deadline day. That's pretty remarkable. And you've got to decide whether you're pushing in or not. And there just weren't that many premium players available, at least position players. There was a handful of players that could really make a difference in your lineup, and some of them just didn't move because, frankly, the team that was on the other end wasn't really inclined to trade them.
So I know that your internal rankings and thoughts on prospects don't necessarily reflect what Baseball America or Pipeline or somebody else might look at, but over the course of the last week or two, were there players out there that you made offers for with some of those top 10, top 5 kinds of prospects that the ranking systems consider? Were there guys where you said, "Hey, yeah, I would like to trade this player for yours," but the other team just said no?
We have been pretty open about this. Is that when we talk to other teams, we will generally be open to anything, and suggesting which players we will move in a certain trade is relative to the player you're acquiring. So how these talks go is at the very start of it, and we'll use Randy Arozarena as an example. The Rays might ask, if we're to put Arozarena in play, who's off limits for you? And, in that one, you might pick a name, 2 or 3. And, we wouldn't move off our major league team because it really doesn't help what we're trying to achieve here. Here's a couple of prospects that we might not be willing to push in, or if we're pushing in, you're not getting multiples. And then they've got to go through their work, vetting through, the names that you have made available. So it just goes back and forth. And ultimately what winds up happening in many of these deals is teams prefer volume to the biggest prospect name you've heard of more and more with each passing year. And you've got a better chance of hitting by getting multiple good prospects than one fabulous prospect. And it's a weird, I guess, a weird development in this generation, but that's become more and more prominent, is trying to gather as many potential major leaguers as you can.
I don't know how it all ended up shaking out salary-wise, but did you take on salary here at the deadline?
Oh, yeah. We took on considerable salary. We also had some cash transactions. We brought money back with Justin Turner. We sent money out with Ty France. We saved a little bit of payroll with Ryan Stanek, and we took back all of the salaries for Randy Arozarena, Jimmy Garcia, and JT Chagua. So, all in all, it was not an insignificant add. It's the most we've added at a deadline in the time since I've been here.
Is that Venmo or is that cash envelope or how does that work usually?
Yeah, Venmo.
It's a lend-lease program. We pay it out over time.
Send it to Jerry-Dipoto on Venmo. It comes right to Jerry.
Did you know if I would have told you after the 2003 draft ended and I would have said, Jerry, here's the deal. These 3 first-rounders are going to rocket up these prospect lists, and then you're going to take the 4th, 6th, and 9th, and you're going to add Arozarena and Turner with those draft picks just from the 2023 class. Would you have thought I was even crazier than I am?
On draft day, I would have thought that, but sometime early this spring, when we were watching all these players down in Peoria, it became fairly obvious that we got a lot more than we bargained for on draft day. And we actually had, and this is not a backslap in any way, but a compliment paid us by someone from another team's front office. Hey, looking at your 2023 draft class, this might be the best draft class I've ever seen. and a year out, it's, we had 3 first rounders. The players have performed remarkably well. Guys that were down in the draft, Logan Evans, Brandon Garcia, Aiden Smith, a lot of the guys that have been drivers in this trade market for us were very popular names. And that's it's a credit to our scouting and player development departments. And it's a credit to those players for really kind of remaking themselves in professional baseball and turning themselves into really attractive prospects.
Just to come back to the Major League team for a moment, I know you talked a little yesterday about Julio. Where do you think he's at in terms of his rehab here with his ankle and ability to get back out on the field?
I wish I could give you any specifics, but nothing more than what you already know, is that he's starting to pick up some baseball activity and high ankles are a strange thing. And it's impossible to gauge whether that's going to be a few days or a few weeks, but we don't anticipate it's going to be much longer than that. But again, that's a little bit of a guess, and there is no specifics to it right now. And on JP, we had a pretty good sense from the very start that it was probably going to be more toward the end of August, start of September, and no reason to believe that timeline has changed.
And I'm sure when you picked up Victor Robles on waivers, you knew that he was going to be arguably the best hitter in baseball over a 3-week stretch here. That was part of the plan, right?
Of course it was. And, we knew that Vic is, to be fair to Victor, he is in the prime of his career, formerly one of the top 5 or 10 prospects in baseball, and that was always a consensus position for him. He had a wonderful first full season for Washington, has been on a world championship club. And, you weren't getting a player who lacked talent. I think you were getting a player who just needed a change of scenery, which is sometimes the case. And our scenery has really been good to him and vice versa. His energy, his tool set. I mean, he hits for power, he runs, he plays defense, and he brings tremendous energy to a team. And, I hate the fact that we're going to play without him today because he's been such a spark plug for us, but he has really been a shot in the arm. And credit to our guys, JD and Tommy, they worked on creating a new setup and an approach in the batter's box for Victor. And he really took to it immediately. The way he sets up to hit right now is very different than the way he set up before. And, there's some Gene Segura in his setup that's making him much more direct to the ball, and it's allowing him to get to his best swing more often. And as a result, he's hitting the ball incredibly hard. He's hitting it often. I'm not sure he's going to run close to a 500 BABIP for the rest of the season, but I hope he will. And it's really been fabulous when we needed it the most.
Speaking of that, I just looked at Justin Turner last night, and is his setup almost identical to Ty France's, or am I crazy?
I never drew that correlation, but they're not dissimilar stylistically as hitters. It's more about approach and contact. And I just think Justin Turner is one of when I was a young player in the big leagues, and this is a lot of years ago, I was with the Cleveland Indians at the time, and they acquired Eddie Murray. And we had a young, super talented team, Albert Bell, Kenny Lofton, Carlos Baerga, et cetera. And, Eddie came walking through, and there was an aura around him. He was a world champ. He had been a guy who's generating top 10 MVP votes. Everybody had Eddie Murray baseball cards. And, I don't know if JT has had quite Eddie's career, but he's had a phenomenal career. And when he walks in that room, when he gets in the batter's box, you just have a sense that he knows how. And there's a real value there. And we wanted to make more contact. We wanted to be able to generate runs in those situations. And in his first plate appearance as a Mariner, he did just that. He got in his 2-strike count. He took the ball to right field, didn't hit a rocket, but did what needed to be done to score the run. And that's what you have to do to win during these final 2 months of the season, is that. You have to generate opportunities like we have over the last 5 games, and you have to cash in the opportunities with simple things like putting the ball in play when you have 2 men on or a man on second and 2 outs. We haven't done that regularly this year. We have done it for the last 5 days, and that's been a real shot in the arm.
It's amazing. Right on my little note sheet here, I was going to ask you, as a player, had you ever been in an experience like this where you're leading a division, 50-some games to go, and the clubhouse you're in is added substantial pros, added substantial experience, added substantial fun. Outside of that Cleveland experience, is there another one that maybe compares to what you guys have just done versus what you've experienced in baseball?
No, I have been on the team that's on the other side enough times, where on trade deadline week, you see Bobby Bonilla walk out the door. And, I think the big names, Brett Saberhagen, get traded to a contender. And, that it's part of the game. And I will say this, and I think you're seeing it a little bit with the personality of our club on the field. We've been very active on the bases. We've been, we're doing little things, the bunts, the moving the runners that we just haven't done. Some of that is just the exhale from the stress that a player feels headed into the trade deadline. And that is universal. The 30 teams, that's not unique to the Mariners. Guys, their families, not knowing what's going to happen over the course of the next 30 days. You've heard star-level players reference, on our own team, reference, some joke or chide about the trade deadline, whether they would be here or not. And players really do stress about that. And as importantly, players' wives do. And the fact that it's now over and they can focus on baseball, and they've got JT in the house, they've got Randy Arozarena, there's a sense of fresh air. This is usually when you see a team get going a little bit. We did it last year. Going into last year's deadline, we were the team that was 5 or 6 slots in back of the postseason drive, and we got out of it, and the guys took a breath and went on a smoking hot streak. And that'd be nice, but we don't have to go out and be the best team on earth. We just have to be the team that plays as well as we can, and we have the soldiers now to go do it night in and night out.
So then last thing here, and we'll just ask quickly, describe your team now versus what they were a week or so ago. How would you describe this current team?
I would say this current team, and I will add this current team with the prospect of adding Julio and JP again. We thought this was a good offensive club when the year started, and perhaps that was wrong. Perhaps we're seeing a little bit of it now. I think Polo is really breaking out since the week before the All-Star game. He's been what we expected to get with Jorge Polanco. He's on fire. I think you're getting the good versions of a lot of our players because now they don't stress as we head into August and September. We've been down this road now for the 4th consecutive year as a contender, but this time we go in first place. We'll start August in first place, and we've been in first place for most of the season. So, I think the confidence level that comes with that is just different than what we've experienced in years past. And, I think this team is inspired. This team, I think, is relieved, if I had to use another word, that we went out and we found guys that help that really brings something to both the clubhouse and the energy on the field. And I know guys are fired up that we're leading it, and we have a chance to go run away, and we're going to try. I know last night was another, we were down, and we've seen that game happen numerous times this year. And they add on, we sit still, and we lose that game. This time we didn't. We came charging back. We put on the big inning where we dropped down bunts, we ran bases, we took our walks, and we hit our homers, or the drill balls off the wall. That's what you're looking to see, is the barrage, the constant pressure. And I think this team today is built better for that opportunity, or that goal is to create constant pressure than we were last Thursday. And we should be even better with that when we get Julio and JP back.
Pretty darn cool. It's been fun to watch, certainly here over the last couple days. What we say, 39 runs in the last 5 games. Just keep that pace, and I think everything should be fine. You guys will score 8 runs a game the rest of the way, right? That shouldn't be a problem, I'm sure.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, absolutely. It's happened for 5. Let's keep it going for another 50. Jerry, thank you. Fun trade deadline. Fun for us to get to talk about, and we'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
And that was Jerry Dipoto yesterday with Brock and Salk. Unfortunately, there are some familiar concerns that popped up yesterday after that in the Mariners series loss. So Brock will join me next. We'll break it all down here on the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith joining us right now.
I will say this. I don't think it's a surprise that the year the Mariners made the playoffs, Carlos Santana was on the roster. And this is a clubhouse who needed a Carlos Santana. And 2.0 version of that is Justin Turner. I have never heard anyone around the game, whether it be a broadcaster, a PR employee, a manager, a coach, a player, ever say anything but glowing remarks about Justin Turner.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
10. Nice work. Thanks. Taking Nugenix Total T makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas, right?
Yes.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yes. Nugenix is a great way to feel stronger with more energy and endurance. And as Frank says, you'll like it too.
Text radio to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Text RADIO to 321-321. That's radio to 321-321.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salker, and look, summer is now officially upon us, so what do you have planned? Oh, it's got to be a lot, right? Vacations, road trips, seeing all that our beautiful area has to offer. You don't want to be limited by how you look or how you feel. You've heard how I went on the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, right? I lost 35 pounds in just 8 weeks. The results were incredible, and I couldn't be happier with how my life and energy improved. Well, I just want the same thing for you. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is looking for 710 listeners to help this summer. Here's the ask. Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. It's safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss, no pills, injections, or surgery. You eat real food that you get at the grocery store. You'll lose weight, look, and feel your very best. That feeling can be yours this summer. So what's the secret? Call Eastside Weight Loss Clinic at 425-588-0080 or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Temps are heating up, and so are the ticket deals this summer with Vivid Seats. Whether it's scoring tickets for a night out at the ballpark or witnessing the rising stars of women's basketball, Vivid Seats has you covered. With a robust rewards program and wide selection of tickets, Vivid Seats makes it easy to score great deals on great seats with a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you the peace of mind for the ultimate fan experience. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Saul.
Well, good morning. I couldn't remember the day for a second, Brock. I'm going to go with Thursday. Happy Thursday. Mike Lefko, Brock Heward here with you. How are you doing this morning,
I'm
Brock?
doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. Yeah. Would have loved to found a way to win that series yesterday, and they were so close, man. That felt like, honestly, a playoff game. I guess every game at Fenway feels like a playoff environment because that place just rocks. Have you ever been to a game at Fenway?
Yeah, I have. So I went to a game one year, Red Sox game, and I also got to go to the Cape League All-Star game, which didn't have the same kind of atmosphere. But yes, I have been to one Red Sox game there.
Yeah, and the noise. I went to a Mariner when I was working with ESPN back in the day. I made the drive from Bristol to Boston to do that, and Mariners got me good seats kind of up behind, home plate, I don't know, 20, 30 rows, somewhere up there, and the noise just reverberates. The seats were tiny. My knees were in the front. Yeah, the guy in front of me didn't like my knees right in his ears.
I think I had a seat that faced out to left field.
Okay.
I don't think I saw home plate without swiveling and wrenching my back. So,
Gotcha. But yeah, they were right there, man. Multiple opportunities after scoring a ton of runs the previous 5 games and getting that big hit, right? And you were just kind of waiting for it yesterday. And unfortunately, just every time there was significant traffic and significant opportunities with runners on base and runners on base and runners on base and runners on base. I think all 4 times Mitch Garver, unfortunately, ended the inning just not being able to for Mitch or the team to get that big hit that he desperately needs, and obviously this team could have used yesterday.
Yeah, I know you want to get into what we actually learned that Mitch Garver told Ryan Divish and Daniel Kramer. We're going to get into that at 8:30, the separate nature of fans taking it a little too far. So we'll address that. But Mitch Garver, the performance, that was rough. Everyone else offensively was rough. They kind of regressed. They reverted back to that Mariners offense that scored one single run in 3 games against the Angels. So now we're sitting here, Brock, and you had that small sample size of all this offensive production. You have the new pieces in. Is that the team we're going to see, or Are we going to see something again closer to the stagnation of run scoring from this Mariners team?
Well, just when you add, right? Just when you add Justin Turner and you add a Rosarena to what you think is Robles and a hot Polanco and hopefully getting Julio back, right? Now
It's almost that scale. Well, you can't get too high here. We got to injure some more people.
No, you can't add too many resources. Sorry, you can't do that. So we're going to, unfortunately, have a hip pointer that Scott Servison after the game did not sound great. Hip pointers, once again, on my, like that game of Operation that you played as a kid, I've had a hip pointer. I've had just about all these injuries that all these guys have had, high ankle sprains and all of them. And that hip pointer is painful. It doesn't sound like much, but it is kind of like that high ankle sprain, man. It can just be debilitating with your function and your movement. And now Polanco's knee kind of flared up, and I wonder if that was on the play. They did not rule an error where he gets to the ball, but then he kind of loses it and he fumbles and he kind of hops awkwardly. And don't know if that tweaked it further or if that's just been barking because we're now in August and it's been 110 plus games. But yeah, you tell me about the health of those guys, Lefko, and I'll tell you about the offensive production. Because I think when you have all of them, you have a whole lot different looking and feeling lineup than you do if you, unfortunately, just about every time take 2 or 3 out of it.
Well, I was going to say, so Maura and I were talking last hour about the fact that all of those guys, Robles, Polanco, Julio, JP, are actually listed as hurt. We know that. Cal Raleigh is playing through injuries. He constantly is. Scott Service mentioned it last week. He fouled 2 pitches off his foot. We saw him on Monday get hit in the hand with that ball, so he's dealing with that. And after 2022, hearing what he played through, I think injuries are significantly affecting Raleigh as well. So he's dealing with a ton. This is a team that, they need this off day, and they're going to have a few coming up, which is going to be key. But the bullpen is thin, the lineup is thin, and it's just, okay, hey, good to get back home. Hopefully that momentum continues. But that was, in more ways than one, a very rough trip up to Boston.
We said how many times going into the season, I know you guys did when you were down there in Peoria as well, Mike, we are always the warm-up act, and then you guys are the finale and the walk-off stage. And how many times did all of us in the station say, well, yeah, this is a good roster if they stay healthy. Well, this is a good roster if they stay healthy. Well, this is a good roster and the deepest roster that Scott has if, and he felt that way coming out of spring. And the guys that you were really worried about, frankly, the Mitch Witches, they've been healthy. I mean, that has not been the issue. They, I think, have monitored those guys and giving them off days. And, man, I don't know if it's humidity or what it was for the Tin Man out there in right field. Makes another great play. Mitch did insert it in that game. So the Haniger and Garver combo, who you're probably health-wise most concerned with, have been available. But now it is starting to add up, man. And now you're starting to get to the dog days of the season. And not only are those bullpen guys, and I'm sure the starters' arms getting a little tired, this is where you do need that offense to pick you up. And you do need that big hit, and they just could not find it yesterday.
Would you have pitched to Devers?
I would not have pitched to him. That guy right now, that ball, we've seen Nelson Cruz in the same mode where you're like, whatever you throw up, there's like a 2-week stretch where Nelson is just going to hit it and hit it really hard. And what did Devers end up against Mariners?
7 for 13.
Yeah.
Drove in 5.
Yeah. So almost 600. Yeah. I was texting a few people about that. That would have meant probably Thornton starts the inning, right? The reason you bring in Jonathan is to pitch lefty to lefty in that moment. But okay, so you walk him, and then Thornton's got to face 2 more guys. And I know that's been a struggle for him, or even Jonathan does too. So kind of understand maybe the reasoning, but yeah, I think I let somebody else beat me. And then I get the opportunity to set up a double play, which is probably the only way you're going to get through any extra inning with a zombie runner in Fenway against that lineup, right? So I probably would have moved him, but to me, that wasn't the root cause of this loss.
Right.
As you mentioned, it was an offense that had multiple opportunities, just couldn't find a way to get it done.
I was going to say, that gets magnified, and we're seeing a lot of it on the Mac and Jack's text line this morning, and we saw that yesterday when we came on, just sitting there, waiting to come on.
Let somebody else beat you, right? Let somebody else beat you.
We saw a lot of that. Yes, but you're right. So it goes back to the fact that the Mariners had a winnable opportunity. They couldn't do what they did on Tuesday when they put up 10 runs. So in this one, 1 for 14, runners in scoring position. 13 left on base. And that combines for, hey, you only get 2 runs and you lose. So as has been the case at times this year when there have been late bullpen, not collapses, but when the loss has been on the bullpen late, it kind of has come down to, well, look at the flip side of that. The offense didn't really give you enough.
Yeah, that's right. They have no margin, right? And Scott's got no margin with some of these decisions. And when you have an offense that went through the struggles they did for 100 games like that every time any of those relievers went out, they're supposed to be leveraged arms, and then the guys that eat up innings, every inning for that bullpen largely this year has been a leverage situation because so many of the games have been tight. That was just a bummer to me because I really wanted you to beat a good team.
Yeah.
Right. Win a series against a good team in their park, a team that is right there ahead of you in the wild card race. And that's why I think all of these now in the final 50-game sprint get a little bit magnified, and why Mitch Garver, I mean, bless his heart, you've got to find a way to contribute. He wants it more than anybody. I've been in that spot. I'll share some personal stories as he mentioned and you teased to. A lot of stuff came out after the game as he was emotional and just kind of poured it all out there. And it's tough, man. It's tough when you're getting paid that, when the expectations are that, when there's a responsibility to that, and you're just not anywhere near close to getting the job done.
Well, Brock, we have a great hour and a great show coming up. Trey Brown at 7:45. That's going to be really fun. Great. I love talking to him. And I think you and I interviewed him last year. It feels like whenever I'm on with you, we get Trey Brown, which is fun because he's a great interview. And then there was some talk. I know there was some talk yesterday about some guy named Tom Brady discussion.
Oh, Tom Brady.
Get him on.
Tom
you
Brady.
texted him, right? You're going to get him on.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In Salk's absence.
Maybe like 9 o'clock.
Salk would have picked Vegas instead of talking to Tom Brady.
I really wish that this would happen just for that fact. To bring Tom Brady on and say, hey, your biggest fan is not here.
Yep.
And he couldn't talk to you. So.
Yeah.
Well, all right, one day.
There's a fight for that because she is here. I mean, the biggest fan is
I
here.
was going to say.
Okay,
yeah,
that's true.
she's in the other room.
I think I might be a bigger fan than
that. You may want to correct that one.
A big fan is not here, even though he wanted to talk to you. So you want to know a funny story real quick. Okay. I remember in the original days of just Salk, when he started this, it was Salk and Maura and Justin. Salk wanted to have me on because I wrote an article and we were going to talk about it. It was a good Seahawks article. And Tom Brady retired. For the first time, not the second time, Tom Brady retired. Salk bumped me off the show to devote 3.5 hours to Tom Brady. I still will never let him forget that. It's a painful, scarring memory. But you're right. Maura is the biggest Tom Brady fan. He will not join us today. Trey Brown will. We have a lot more coming up as well. Mike Lefko and Brock here with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
With new leadership, the Seahawks are ready to get to work. Seattle Sports will be at Seahawks headquarters, taking you onto the field with the team. Interviews, analysis, and exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage as Gino and the Hawks get ready for the 2024 season.
Pick up! Witherspoon comes near side. He is in. Witherspoon with the interception for a touchdown.
Training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton on your home for the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally challenging, but it can also be financially devastating. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients by covering essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. Since the year 2000, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $2.5 million to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can help us make an even greater impact. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 18th at the Golf Club at Newcastle. It'll be an unforgettable afternoon of hope and inspiration, celebrating local cancer survivors. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 18th. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Need Friday night plans? Enjoy live music and salsa dance lessons at Pier 62, courtesy of Dancing Till Dusk. 6 to 8:30 p.m. All ages are welcome for this free event. Live music and salsa dancing at Pier 62, Friday night, August 2nd. Visit waterfrontparkseattle.org to sign up and for information on more free events at Pier 62 happening all summer. The new Seattle waterfront is being built for you, so come and enjoy it. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. Don't you think buying a car should be fun? Well, that's why Kia of Everett, they are the home of simple, easy fun. And what does that mean for you? Simple, because of their knowledgeable staff in sales and service. Easy, because of their transparent financing. And fun, because of the culture in the store you feel the moment you walk through the doors. After spending some time with Eric Butler and the team, don't buy anywhere else until you experience simple, easy, fun right there at Kia of Everett. Kia of Everett, part of the Harnish Auto family.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
High five! Up top! Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, up first, the Mac and Jack sex line 206 says, Maura's got a crush on TB12, huh? Same voice as, have you seen Ken Walker?
Who doesn't have a crush on Tom Brady?
That's a good point. All right. Thank you, 206.
Have you seen him with his shirt off?
I said, have you seen him with his shirt off now compared to when he was first drafted? It's much better.
Good glow up there for Tom Brady. I heard you got a little glow up as well, Brock.
Do you wear a swim shirt when you paddleboard, Lefko?
Do I wear a swim shirt? Come on.
Okay.
What kind of question is
Okay,
that?
here we go. Need to
Come
know.
on.
Here we go.
Come on.
Here we go. Need to know.
No. Body issue.
Salk's
here.
wearing a swim shirt in Vegas.
I heard. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can discuss that. Maybe we'll rank some Salk things in Vegas at the end of the show. But the Seahawks had a walkthrough, essentially. Yesterday, they dubbed it ACT, Alignment, Communication, and Technique. Geno Smith didn't practice. He was out after the 2 days in pads, had a sore knee and a sore hip. DK Metcalf was asked about it and kind of had an interesting answer about the practice.
I don't know. I mean, it was more mental, but we just still got out here, ran the plays. But yeah, it was just a mental day. I don't appreciate it or hate it or love it. It was just another day of training camp.
Different though.
Yeah. For you, yeah. We still out here in the sun running around.
Who was I listening to the other day that was talking about Pete Carroll's walkthroughs were not walkthrough. Oh, it's Tyler Columbus. Old Tyler Columbus does radio out in Denver, and he was talking about those walkthroughs and how, in fact, the league had to come in. And part of the reason that the NFLPA is out there and lots of rules are instituted now is because walkthrough, there was really no such thing with Sherm and Doug and any of those guys. There are now around the league. This is one of the things that's built into the CBA. To me, this is not even a Mike McDonald. It is, well, it is in the sense of, okay, the league mandates we have to do this. The league mandates on these one-on-one drills, you can't get wide. The league mandates we can't do double teams. The league mandates all of these things. So what can we do? How can we make the most of it? And yesterday, and some of the tests out there on the field, which I'll get to in Blue 88, is one way of doing so.
Yeah, it was a true walkthrough. I mean, no helmets. And what I mentioned, Brock, is they didn't even have their jerseys on, which we have seen every day during practice. You know, they'll wear the game jerseys. No, these were just practice shirts, numbers, no names. So a walkthrough and everything there yesterday for the Seahawks.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Unfortunately, the injury updates continue for the Mariners. We discussed this to start the show, but Brock, here are some updates from Scott Service on Jorge Polanco and Gregory Santos.
Polo has been struggling with the knee issue here the last couple days, and really affected him today, certainly on defensively, just reacting to balls, and you can start to notice it in the batter's box too, and I don't want to him to lose any momentum, what he's had offensively, so we decided to get him out of the game. Santos, arm issue, kind of a bicep issue. We'll get an MRI on that when we get back tomorrow and kind of see where that's at. So, you need all these guys, but there's things you have to grind through, and there's adversity, whether it's through injuries or whatnot. But at the end of the day, we are competing very well. I like what I saw. I just need the big hits today, and we didn't get them.
How do you feel about Santos, those injuries there? It's two starts in the last week, or two appearances in the last week now. He's had to leave. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, it's just not. We used to have teammates called just can't get right. I mean, just unfortunately just can't get right. Right? It was a lat, it's a shoulder, it was a knee, it's a bicep. It's just when you are playing catch up, and guys talk about this all the time. Like in the off season, Lefko, when you're spending the off season rehabbing and then into the season, all you're doing throughout the regular season is just playing catch up. We saw that a little bit with Mooney last year. Remember, Mooney was kind of banged up through spring, and he felt like he was constantly chasing and just could never quite get ahead of it. And I'm glad. I was curious because it looked like Polanco could not move in the field yesterday. So, again, sometimes we don't get all the information. They don't tell us everything. Scott's going to protect his guys. So that's at least a good thing to know that, the knee was really, really barking. And unfortunately, this offense, we know it. You go 1 for 14, you strike out 10 times, you're going to score 1 or 2 runs. And they've been, unfortunately, prone to that through 100 games. We hadn't seen it in 5 or 6. Reared its head in the rubber match, and Boston wins.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Thank you for the sound effect there. I needed that to punctuate the series loss. Brock, you're going to be glued to the TV, kind of sitting cross-legged in front of it, watching the Tyson Bagent show tonight. Bears-Texans, the Hall of Fame game, 5 o'clock. No starters, no Caleb Williams, no C.J. Stroud. So I was trying to figure out, is Roma Dunze playing? There was no real announcement. The Bears said no starters. I mean, we think Roma Dunze is a starter, so I don't know. Do you tune in anyway and watch all 3 hours of this just to see if he gets in?
Is Pope Catholic?
So he's playing.
Is water wet?
Okay. He's a starter, though.
Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle? Does Mora love Tom Brady? I mean, yes, on all of those things. Yes, I'm going to sit down and watch that.
Oh, that. Okay. But what about Odunze?
I don't think Rome played. No, you're
so.
Top 10 pick and you're starting. You're probably not going to play. Chicago's going to be dangerous, man. Chicago's going to be good. And as Cowherd said, we played some of his podcast, and everybody's going to be talking about the Bears. Everybody's going to be talking about the Packers. Everybody's going to be talking about Dallas and Dak and the Rams and the 49ers, and kind of just the way Mike McDonald would like it. Good. Let everybody else have all the conversation, and we might just sneak in there and be a very, very pleasant surprise.
You think people are talking about the Cowboys if they don't get their contract situation sorted out with Lamb and Prescott and
Yeah, they
everyone.
they just talk about him a little bit anyway. Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. All right. One more thing you need to know: Katie Ledecky, her dominance continued in the pool yesterday. Her margin of victory, Brock, 10.3 seconds.
Yes.
In the 1500-meter freestyle.
Yeah.
No one was in the screen with her. They had to go to the all-22 shot.
NBC did a cool job with this cartoon they put together, comparing her to some of the other greats, and in particular, like Usain Bolt. Right? Remember when Usain was in his prime and ran like 9.58, and he was so far ahead of others? And they did a kind of a breakdown and spun some numbers around, and I want to say he was like 1.2% better than anybody in the history of the sport all time. Katie Ledecky is almost 2% better than anybody. The top 20 times in that race in the world's history, she has. She is a machine.
I had a friend's kid who, my friend tweeted this out, so that's why I saw it. He said, my daughter asked me, why are the other swimmers swimming the other way? Because she's so far ahead. They're still trying to make the turn, and she's already done. So
Unreal.
Yeah, it is some dominance. That is everything you need to know. We're doing a little switch coming up because we have Trey Brown joining us at 7:45. So that means a little earlier. Blue 88 comes your way at 7:30. Some things that we saw yesterday in that ACT practice, that walkthrough for the Seahawks. We'll catch up with Trey Brown as they continue training camp out there. Getting close to the end, actually. Training camp's going to wrap up a little sooner than usual because they have those preseason practices. They're going down to Nashville. They're going to practice with the Titans and then have that preseason game against them. So not much longer left in preseason. We'll talk about all of that. Mike Lefko and Brock here with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball.
That baby is out of here!
Every strikeout.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Bryce Miller caps his day of 7 scoreless.
Every home run.
Goodbye baseball, he did it! Julio Rodriguez.
Every Mariners win.
And Mitch Haniger, just like the old days. He wins it for the Mariners in the 10th inning.
Stream every game at seattlesports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports.
To celebrate Team USA going for gold, Xfinity is offering a gold medal deal now through August 11th. Get their best offer yet with 300 megabit Xfinity internet and 1 line of unlimited mobile for just $35 a month for a year and a free 5G phone. And the action doesn't stop there. Save on some of the biggest names in streaming by adding the new Xfinity Stream Saver with Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $15 a month. And don't wait, because when the Olympic Games end, so does this deal. So go to Xfinity.com/Team USA, call 1-800-XFINITY, or go visit a store today. Get the fastest connection to Paris, only with Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply to internet and mobile. Stream Saver price subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Free 5G phone requires eligible trade-in. Select models only, but make the call and don't wait. To 1-800-XFINITY.
Traffic backups are inconvenient, but if your pipes are backing up at home, that's bad. There's only one cure for this pesky problem: the experts at Beacon Plumbing, Heating, Septic, and Mechanical. Trust them to clear your clogs. Stop freaking and call Beacon. 1-800-FREAKIN.
This is a paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Under 12 years of Bob Ferguson as Attorney General and Chief Prosecutor, we in Washington have seen a lot of increases. This, of course, includes a 26% increase in violent crime, 58% increase in homicides, and Washington ranking 4th in the country in stolen vehicles in 2023, behind California, Texas, and Florida. Oh, and according to the FBI, Washington was the 8th most dangerous state between 2020 and 2022. Don't ask for help if you drive a Hyundai or a Kia that's been stolen. What has AG Bob Ferguson done? Bob's been busy planning his governor's campaign and keeping Washington last in the country in law enforcement officers per citizen. As the leader of the Bob for Bob committee, I encourage you to vote Bob if you want more of these crippling policies for Washington, so Bob gets what he's always wanted: governor. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors: Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
12's Seahawks training camp powered by Boeing is on the horizon.
Starting July 24th, join us lakeside at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center for the first of 9 practices. Get an up-close look at the new Seahawks head coach, Mike McDonald, and the next gen of Seahawks players as they take the field to prepare for the upcoming season. Summer in Seattle and Seahawks football, what's better than that? Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp. That's Seahawks.com/training camp.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Kick off summer by checking out the incredible showroom at Toyota of Kirkland. With a wide selection of Camrys on the lot, including the brand new 2025 Hybrid Camry, along with the new inventory of Tundras and Tacomas. All with a lifetime powertrain warranty, you're in for a summer to remember. The unbeatable team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive, and you can take that car home the same day. Get your summer groove on at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO, Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports at 97.3 FM HD2.
We're going to catch up with Trey Brown at 7:45. Seahawks training camp continuing. And our training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton. Brock, my breakfast this morning is powered by Seahawks training camp. And also, I guess, the Landing in Renton. I have a cookie that I realized I had left over from Seahawks training camp yesterday.
Nice.
So at 6:30, I started to dive into this. So those cookies are good. They're big.
Yeah, those
good cookies out there.
Yeah. Hey, quick little life update for you before we do a little Blue 88 and then Trey Brown.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think when you've been on the show before, I've quoted my father-in-law. Life is about not Trey Brown, trade-offs. Life's about trade-offs.
Yes.
So I go to the optometrist, and I'm gonna get some glasses. It's time. Right? Just getting old. And I don't know if the optometrist was just being really nice, that this is just what happens to everybody as you get 48, 55, 70, your eyes just kind of wear down. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm still, sadly, still fight vanity. So I don't know if I can do glasses all the time. So can we do contacts? And, oh, yeah, that requires another appointment. So go in there.
So you're there for another 9 hours.
Yeah, no, thankfully not 9. No, because this one, they didn't have to fit them to my face, just my eyeball. And I actually, because I'm a weirdo, was able to do it pretty easily because I've been poked in the eye, everything in my eye. So get that all done. And then I get in the car yesterday and I'm like, you know, I look in the rearview mirror and I'm like, ah!
You saw yourself for the first
time. Yeah. Like, what is that?
Now you know
it was
what we're
like you
dealing
had
with.
one of those social media beauty filters on before.
Yes.
And now you don't.
Nose hairs and big pores and like, what has Molly had to look at?
This is what the listeners have to deal with every day if they're watching on the live stream.
I mean, just hideous. So with that, probably time for a little Blue 88.
Yeah, all right, Blue 88. Let's do it.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
So here's the thing, which I learned about, which is also coming up at 8. I learned that last week, any old person could do this, not only Brock Heward, but today we do have Brock in. So while you're gallivanting around tomorrow, they'll do something different. Marine Layer guys will be in here. But Brock, since you're here, let's get to it. First question for you. Any alarm bells go off with Gino needing a veteran rest day?
Never loved to hear, kind of knees barking, this is barking. And it reminds me a little bit, honestly, of Julio when we were down there in the spring. And Julio had a little wrist very early in spring. And, Salk and I and Maura and Justin like, where's Julio? Why isn't he? Oh, he just got a little wrist. And we've got to slow Julio down because Julio works. And I think this is a little byproduct, if it's me speculating, just my own opinion, because nobody can answer questions like me in this, is that this is a result of how hard Gino pushed it all off season. And it wasn't just like a Russell Wilson, let me send out Instagram videos, let me show you my pictures. You could see it. You could see it with his numbers, with his speed. You could see it, when he had his shirt off and is out there working out with his receivers. And
no swim shirt needed there.
This was no time for rest, legit, in Gino's offseason. And I think now as they get going and you're on the field and you're in pads and you're doing all this, okay, yeah, I kind of get that. We'll just give him a little veteran day as well. Now, let me say this, Lefko, and this is not back in my day, we didn't know, it was so hard, But this is part of the reason that guys in the 70s and 80s and 90s didn't play till they were 45. Because training camps were brutal. I mean, it was full pads. My first practice of training camp in Cheney was full pads, followed by another practice. It wasn't a walkthrough in the afternoon with helmets. It was full speed. And it was 2-a-days and 2-a-days and 2-a-days. And the amount of pounding, and that was me in the 90s, let alone the guys in the 70s that started training camp on July 4th. This gives you a little window into how they take care of these guys in ways that the old heads never did, and why those guys are broken, why those guys' bodies are so beat up, and why none of them played into their 40s or late 40s.
All right, number 2. Brock, yesterday what the Seahawks did, it was a walkthrough, but they described it as ACT. So what can you really learn by taking a football ACT?
Yeah, alignment, communication, technique, right? Alignment and assignment. You hear that all the time. Get aligned and then know your assignment. AJ Barner was fun with us yesterday. Albert was super fun talking about just making sure he knew his assignments. And it's a big part of it. And I'll tell you this, Lefko, I guarantee you there were guys out there, they're like, dang it, can we put the pads back on? Like, I'm going to be a football player again, and if I don't know my assignment or if I screw something up, at least I can play really hard and overcome that. Not in this environment. This is like the classroom. This is, hey, man, you're called on in class. Do you know the answer? And, I would say alignment, communication, technique. I would actually say accountability. Mm-hmm. Like, this exposes you. I think one of the worst moments in the NFL for me was this blitz pickup drill in training camp in Terre Haute, Indiana, in the afternoon, in the gym, during a thunderstorm. And I'm like, oh, gosh, I am an idiot. Like, Peyton's out here, here's a new wheel, we're going to move this free, we're going to change this protection. Like, he knew it like the back of his hand. It was my first year, and it was a foreign language. I'm like, I a couple times I'd turn around like, I don't got it. And it was embarrassing. It was humiliating, and it was really humbling. So just like that ACT, you get your score back. Maybe the first time you take it, could be served a little humble pie with it. That ACT, if you don't know what you're doing, you get exposed out on that field.
Is that more important for one side of the ball rather than the other? Because it felt like yesterday the defense was benefiting a lot more. And there was a lot of communication from the sideline, from the guys out there. So just in the perception of what I saw, it felt like it was more beneficial for the defense. I don't know if that...
I think it depends on. I think it probably depends on scheme, Mike, right? And how multiple and how diverse and how much you change looks and all the things that these guys are now doing defensively. And especially for those that have been here in Seattle doing it and have never been exposed to it, Yeah, I would probably say it's more beneficial there because the offense, frankly, right, when Geno gets together with his receivers in the offseason, you can do a lot of this, right? Okay, we're going to get in this formation. Okay, we're going to run this route. Okay, we're going to do it. Defense, you don't really do that. You don't in the offseason all get together and, drop into coverages. It really isn't until training camp that you get this kind of opportunity.
All right, number 3. Brock, you sent Maura and I a picture.
Yes,
so I know the answer. And we had some fun with this picture. But for our listening audience and all of our viewers worldwide, which Husky is going to be the guy who Seattle falls in love with this season?
Plug your ears, C-Raj. Plug your ears if you're driving in. Actually, I think he's so mad at me right now. He didn't even respond to a text I sent him after he texted me about Jed Fish. Yeah. So plug your ears. It's going to be Jonah Coleman. And I'm not even going to say the little running back over there at the University of Washington on Lamont Lake. He came over with Jed Fish from Arizona, had a monster year there as a young guy, followed Jed. And, yeah, they tweeted, or someone had a little picture floating around out there, him on the practice field. And there is just something about, and this is not just a Jonah Coleman thing, and this isn't just a weird Brock Body thing. There is something about big backs. People gravitate towards big running backs, from Craig Ironhead Hayward all the way through the years. Like, you just love a big, physical. Certainly Pete Carroll has indoctrinated a lot of us in this market, from Marshawn to Chris Carson. You love a big old back that is willing at 5, and I think they list him at 5'9", 230. I mean, he is a load. And Husky football fans in this market are going to appreciate it, much like we did Marshawn. You got guys, you're literally carrying guys, right? We saw Charbonnet do it at times last year. You're goring guys. You're running through guys. You are a bowling ball with knives. Good luck trying to tackle that thing. I think we're going to have a lot of fun watching Jonah Coleman.
All right, that is Blue 88. Trey Brown will join us shortly, a few minutes away from now, from Seahawks training camp. So, Brock, as they kind of get into this, second week and almost start to wrap it up because of those joint practices with the Titans coming up a little bit later, what do you want to see from this final stretch? They got into pads Monday and Tuesday. I know that's when you can really learn a lot more about guys in the trenches. What's important now about these next couple of weeks of training camp?
So as I'm looking at it here, correct me if I'm wrong there, Lefko. So we have the Hall of Fame game tonight. As you said, it'll be a lot of the backups. It's still a blast. That facility in Canton, Ohio is awesome. I mean, they have put some serious money into it. It is doesn't feel like the old high school field that it used to feel like. It is really, really cool. And then you get to preseason week number 1, which you're referencing. So this week they'll have their walkthrough, their mock game on Saturday, and then it gets real in a hurry, like real fast. Because next week you're starting now to prep for preseason game number 1, and you get old Jimmy Harbaugh. You're number 1 at Jim Harbaugh. You're number 1 at Mike McDonald. You're number 1 at Jim Harbaugh, laying down the foundation. You know that game is going to be physical, and they're going to line up, and they're going to just try to whack you. So you play them week 1, and then to your point, right away, you have a really short week in Seattle because you're going to leave early in the week to do the joint practices with the Titans out there in the heat and humidity of Tennessee. So you just we always knew this, even 30 years ago. Like, you knew you had to maximize every day, but now that is magnified 100-fold. And we'll ask Trey Brown about it. Like, when he's at Oklahoma doing 2 days and all sorts of reps compared to now, like, hey, man, you get like 8 reps of team. And you got to make the most of every one of these reps. And you don't get a lot of them. You don't have many 2-a-days. You don't have many opportunities in pads. Now you're going to have this joint practice. Now this practice time in Seattle is going to go like this. And you're going to blink, and it's going to be mid-August, and you're going to be through preseason games getting ready for cutdown. So, yeah, it happens in a hurry, Lefko.
Is Jim Harbaugh going to be the guy who takes preseason way too seriously? Like, he's going to be the one screaming at the officials, trying to run all these fluky formations.
Why would you say that? Because he wears cleats at practice?
Everything we've heard from Jim Harbaugh. Yeah.
Because he's out there doing drills?
Yeah. Is this Harbaugh experiment going to work again in the NFL? Can he stay there long enough without wearing out his welcome? Because he has success. Yeah. Then he always has to leave because he wears out his welcome. I'm curious about that.
I think a Joel Klatt would tell you, and certainly my own life experience would tell you, that Mike He is not the same guy even 4 years ago at Michigan. He was not. I don't know if it was an epiphany. I think there was some personal stuff that went on in his life. I think there was a contract that was reworked. I think there was, again, some hard times in Michigan, and we're going to get to hard times in 45 minutes and what that does to you as a player, as a coach, when you are in the public eye and in that realm. And I think that there was quite an epiphany where he made it about everyone else. I think there were times early where maybe it was a little bit about the Jim Harbaugh show, right? Maybe, what's your deal? What's your deal, right? I think there were times that he maybe was at the center of the attention. Over the last 3 or 4 years, Mike, man, you ask anybody that covered Michigan, ask Kirk Herbstreit, ask Todd Blackledge, ask Joel Klatt, right? The couple times that I had him over the last few years, it was not about him anymore. Not this big show. It was, hey, man, it's about my guys, about my people, about my assistants. And he was a lot more open about, some of his own kind of missteps along the way. So if it is going to work, this is a different, now he's still quirky. Yeah. He's still in his own little place, which I kind of like, is a quirky in my own little place guy every once in a while myself. But he's going to make it about those dudes, and he's got some dudes to work with down there in LA.
I think, people just see the caricature of what he has been and still when he made that big public show of living in the RV. It's just a guy who loves football. But not many people would just say, I'm going to go live in an RV down by the river. In this case, a very nice beach. But he's unique. Unique individual.
And he's building it, like the zig and zag, and you got to do it maybe differently than everybody else he does. He does it with his own personality, he does it with his staff, and then most importantly, Mike, and why I think it is a great, like if Mike McDonald could have drawn up any first game to go play against the guy that you once worked for, right? Which is really, really cool. And then B, hey man, this is no finesse team. Right, we watched the final Hard Knocks last night of the New York Giants offseason, and as they were laying out their board and looking at all the draft, they're going to draft Joe Alt. Of course they are. He's 6'8" and 350 pounds. Of course Jim Harbaugh is going to add a Goliath to that team, and he's going to ship his wide receivers away, and this thing's going to be built from the inside out, which will be a really fun test for Mike and his crew to play a very, very physical first preseason game.
So, Brock, as we wait for Trey Brown, we've talked about the cornerbacks. I know you and I talked about it, I think, during minicamp, but this feels like the position where so much is on the line, the deepest position, so much of a competition that guys are jostling for positions. You drafted 2 cornerbacks to an already what we thought was a pretty loaded group. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how all these guys push each other.
Yeah, this is the one group that really can't count numbers. And every NFL head coach starts training camp, Tony Dungy, Mike Holmgren, all of them in Hard Knocks. Don't look around the room. Don't worry about anybody else. Do your job. Because the minute you start counting numbers, the minute you're like, or you're listening to your family or friends, even your beloved family and friends, you're like, how's it going? How's the competition? Where were you? You can't do any of that. You just have to have this hyper focus. And I think you're absolutely right, especially now with Spoon not just being the nickel. I think last year, wasn't he about almost 100% the nickel when he was out on the field? You're going to see him at corner on the outside sometimes. You're going to see them match up in all sorts of different ways against everybody. So that means for Mike Jack and for Trey Brown and for these young corners, all of a sudden it isn't, hey, man, there's Reek on one side and I'm competing. No, you're competing for your livelihood. You're competing for any rep you can get. And, I think that this certainly is the most competitive room in that way for the roster. On this entire team.
Yeah, I know we talk about preseason kind of jokingly at times, or the Hall of Fame game. Okay, what do you really learn? But in a situation like this, talking about position battles and guys beyond just the veneer of, hey, here are your starters, and maybe what the offense is going to look like for the Seahawks. You kind of have a sense, all right, the defensive line, personnel-wise, we know who will be there. Not sure how the rotations will be utilized, the depth and what they will do there, but you get into that secondary. There's a lot to kind of sort through. So I think when you start preseason, certainly at the Chargers, then what comes out of those joint practices, I'm fascinated to know how the secondary will shake out.
Yeah, I'm totally biased on this, and I go the other way, having called these preseason games and loving it for a lot of those years as Kurt Menefee and I are up there, and now it's obviously Kate and Mike Robb and Bennett and the fun that they have. And maybe I am biased because we had to every single week make it like a regular season game. And it wasn't that hard to do. Because all of a sudden you peel back, okay, fine, some of the starters aren't playing, but you peel back that onion a little bit. You kidding me? Oh, what did we really learn? Oh, it's not real football. Are you joking? These guys don't get live tackling in camp. This is their chance. This offensive line, you tell me Christian Haynes and Lamea and the young guys up front aren't going to go out there with their hair on fire? You telling me these backup linebackers and all these of course they are. And that's not just a Seattle thing. That's around the league thing where, hey man, you don't get to hit. You don't get, many meals at the table. You get these 3 entrees, you better go out there and devour them. So yeah, I've never bought into that. These things don't matter at all. I know that McVay and some of the NFL guys have changed the number of reps, but yeah, man, it's still a big deal.
Well, let's talk to a guy who's about to play in these preseason games in a couple of weeks and who's going through training camp out there. Seahawks cornerback Trey Brown joins us now on the Emerald Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Trey, I can't believe this because we talked to you when you were drafted, but somehow you're about to start your 4th season. Do you feel like a veteran out there now?
Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies. Just being out there seeing the younger guys, and then you just automatically think, like, hey, let me help this guy. You know what I mean? And it's like, dang. Like, I remember I was in their shoes one time, when I didn't know what I was doing or something like that. And, I had an older guy come and talk to me. So, man, for me to just switch shoes, man, it's crazy.
How did you do on the ACT yesterday?
How did I do?
Yeah.
On the 8. I haven't taken the ACT since high school, huh?
That's what Coach McDonald called the practice yesterday, alignment communication technique, an ACT out there for the guys.
Yeah, I don't want to go through that other ACT again. I'll tell you that.
What does a practice like yesterday? I was just hitting on it from an old quarterback's perspective, but what does a mental day like yesterday? How much different is it than maybe the physical stuff with the pads versus, man, you better be on your spot and you better know every last detail of this thing mentally?
Yeah, man, you got to lock in. Things aren't going fast, so you get a little time to really just think. But so that's what really just kind of puts the pressure on you, like, hey, I'm thinking a little too much instead of just going out there flying around. So you got to be on your stuff, man, because, a lot of people can see that. Bullets aren't really flying. So, it's easy to pinpoint something when somebody's not doing something right.
Trey, you mentioned the veterans that helped you when you got there, and now you are that guy. A lot of young cornerbacks, a lot of defensive backs that are younger than you. Who has come to you, or who have you helped so far through mini camp and training camp now?
You got the young guys like you got C.J. Johnson, Nehemiah Pritchard. You got all of these guys. Just the young guys. Coming in, asking, hey, what's going on right here? Even D. Williams. So do I. You know what I'm saying? Do I bail on a snapper? Do I get out of there before the snap, or what is it? So it's just all the young guys, man, and then just being out there able to help them, and then just seeing that transition to the field, that makes you feel good.
Yeah, the vet Trey Brown here with us this morning for a few more minutes. We got so accustomed, Trey, to hearing stay on top for 14 years, right? Stay on top, stay on top, stay on top. All the different guys wearing the uniform at your position. Is that still the mantra? Is that still the messaging?
You don't want to get beat over the top. I don't care where you are, who you are, where you at. That's just something you don't want to see because all eyes are on you at the end of the day. I tell people, corner, that's a position where you just can't make a mistake because, you get the most blame in the game. Once you're beat, everybody see, who was that guy? You know what I'm saying? And they looking, it was you. And it's like, oh, snap. You're going to hear it. So, stay on top is definitely it's the thing.
Hey, Trey, as you've gone through the league and start to realize what you have to do to take care of your body, does your off-season process change? Do you do one thing in the off-season and realize, well, that might not be the best thing for me? Or have you found a routine that has started to work for you?
Of course. What I really homed in on was stretching, this off-season. Now, I know that's not a big thing, but stretching was definitely a big thing for me because as a young guy, you can get up and just start running. You don't have to really stretch, So now when I seen that take a toll, I'm like, oh, my goodness, I need to start stretching. That was a big change for me, was just basically adding stretching to my routine, and that's really helped me.
I mean, we talking yoga and Pilates, or are we just talking like
we talking get out the bed, throw a little mat down or something, get on the floor, stretch. Not nothing crazy.
I got you. How about this one, Trey? How about the different dudes that you've got to cover on this roster, and the difference between covering a Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's not much taller than you, and maybe you're taller than him, I don't know, versus a Bobo and a DK. How do you go about trying to attack and cover a bigger receiver?
Everything is different. DK, you got to use strength. Jackson, T-Lock, man, you got to use some finesse. You got to be a little patient. Those guys can set up a lot of more moves, where DK can strength you. Man, so you got to have a different approach when you're going against those guys, man. And it's just, it really helps. It helps all of us because we get to see all, different things, once we guard our different receivers, and they're all great at what they do.
Well, I was going to say, covering DK seems like a great preparation for who you're going to face week to week in the season, because it felt like last year you really embraced covering an opponent's best receiver. We saw those games against CeeDee Lamb or against A.J. Brown. What's your mindset when you line up against a good receiver across from you?
My mindset is, hey, I want to be the best. You know, I want to get mine before I get got. You know, that's the main thing I want to accomplish. You know, I know it's going to come to me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, maybe I'm not one of those guys who, everybody praises. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make my plays, and I'm going to show you who I am in that type of way.
How competitive is your guys' room right now?
It's very competitive. Everybody gets upset about something, you know, even when it's shadow tempo or a ball is caught on you, man. Everybody's competitive.
How do you fight not looking around the room?
I mean, just worry about you. You know, that's something you can live with for life. You know, control what you can control. Worry about you at the end of the day, and everything's going to take care of itself.
Trey, we've asked this to a lot of guys because it is such a vast departure from what we've been used to for the past 14 years. But with Mike Macdonald, how has the tenor of practice changed, or everything you guys are doing, or has it changed much from team under Pete Carroll?
We got a little less leeway, I'll tell you that. He'll make us restart a play 4 times. He don't really care about none of that, you know, so that makes guys really lock in, and we hold each other accountable right then and there on that type of deal, because, you know, we want to be the best, and he wants us to be the best, and we saw what he's did with other defenses, and we're definitely bought in.
Have we seen Reek and DK kind of get into it a little bit? Like,
hey, that's what it's about, man. It's competitive, man. You're gonna see those things in training camp all over, man. So they're just iron sharpens iron. You know, they want to be the best with each other. You know, at the end of the day, he wants the best out of you, so he's gonna ruffle some feathers a little bit, you know. But at the end of the day, it's all love. We're a brotherhood.
Trey, are you getting to the point where you're kind of looking forward to facing another team, or is it still all right, we got a few more days before we ease into prepping for another opponent out there?
Hey, man, sometimes I get caught looking into the future, you know, but at the end of the day, I take it one day at a time, you know, just focusing in and competing with our guys, because, like, we got the best in the room. So if you can compete with these guys, you can compete with anybody.
Appreciate it, Trey. I know you got to get running. You got meetings. We are not about to get you fined whatsoever. So you get on your way. Keep working your tail off, man. You are one that a lot of folks here at the station and a lot of the folks listening to the station love rooting for, because you see your effort and you want to, man. So go get it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that is Trey Brown. Yeah, always an enjoyable conversation. I do remember, Brock. I think we talked to him when he was drafted. You and I talked to him last year. Big play Trey. That was his moniker in college.
He is a mature dude, man. He's played a lot of football. Played a lot. I think started 40-something games there at Oklahoma, and is willing to stick his face and go in there and compete. And as you said, man, this is going to be one of the more competitive rooms to watch. And who knows? I mean, you go out and you play great, there may be an opportunity that someone, and there are teams that need corners out there, right? That you may be a starter elsewhere. So you just got to not worry about, as he said, any of that. Go do your thing and get ready for here's the thing. Because that's what we do Thursday at 8.
Look at that.
Yeah, you like that?
That is
because I got these contacts in there. Sharp.
He can see. Brock can see what's coming up next. Well, hey.
Yes, I can.
You just sent us a break. Here's the thing. Coming up next here on Brock and Salk.
With new leadership, the Seahawks are ready to get to work. Seattle Sports will be at Seahawks headquarters, taking you onto the field with the team. Interviews, analysis, and exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage as Gino and the Hawks get ready for the 2024 season.
Ball picked up. Witherspoon comes near side. He is in. Witherspoon with the interception for a touchdown.
Training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton on your home for the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's me, your liver. You know, the organ that helps you recover every weekend after pizza, donuts, and all those drinks. When you have a headache, you take an aspirin. You have a stomach ache, you pop an antacid. But where's the love for your best buddy, the liver? The least that you could do to help me stay healthy is take Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver tablets contain high-quality, all-natural ingredients like milk thistle, globe artichoke, and turmeric extracts, which are proven to keep me healthy and you feeling your best. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox and helps protect me all year long. So let me make you an offer you can't refuse. You take care of me with Active Liver, and I keep taking care of you. Capiche?
See for yourself why Active Liver is Scandinavia's #1 liver health supplement. You can find Active Liver at CVS and online at Amazon, Target.com, or directly from NewNordicUSA.com. Again, find it in stores at CVS or online at Amazon, Target.com, or NewNordicUSA.com.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1904 $20 Gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 Gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-895-7664. Call now, and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-895-7664 now to secure your 1904P $20 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-895-7664.
High five. Up top. Heck yeah.
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hear ye, hear ye. Prepare to embark on an epic journey as we present the third weekend at the Washington Midsummer Renaissance Fair at Sky Meadows Park in Snohomish. Choose your alliance, villain or hero. Don your capes, sharpen your swords, adjust your crowns, and prepare for a weekend of unparalleled excitement and imagination. Parking is free. The Washington Midsummer Renaissance Fair. Tickets sold at WashingtonFairWithAnE.com.
Hi, I'm Stuart Holmes, Elections Director for Washington State. Washington's primary is August 6th. Visit sos.wa.gov/elections to learn more about voting and how your state and local election workers keep our elections secure. Return your ballot to an official drop box by 8 p.m. August 6th, or if you mail your ballot, make sure it's postmarked by Election Day.
Sponsored by the Office of Secretary of State and aired in cooperation with the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Eward. And Brooke Eward.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
Well, we replaced one of the names there. Still got a Mike. Got your Mike quota here. Mike Lefko, Brock Eward with you. And what I learned, Brock, is that every Thursday at 8 a.m., you do something called this.
We're going to get well acquainted.
I just want the Mariners to win every game. I don't believe that's too much to ask for.
It's time for Brock and Salk's Here's the Thing.
Okay, here's the thing.
All right, I'm going to take you guys through these this week. There's always kind of a focus. One of us seems to be a focus every week, and you're It's you, Brock.
Brock's the focus.
Yeah.
I
Didn't
would
you
have thought
ask
it'd been
for the
Salk
focus
this
to be
week.
Salk, even though he was going to be here?
And we told people they could leave messages for Lefko, but I don't know. Maybe they were a little hesitant
they
to
don't know
pick
who
on you
Lefko
when
is.
you're not here every
Too
day.
nice. You're too nice.
So yeah, well here we'll start with after you got critiqued for your Blue 88 Open last week by I think it was Peter. RT has a suggestion as well.
Maybe Brock should try breaking down 3 football questions as somebody else. Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only Tony Romo could. Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only Tom Brady could. Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only Freddie Mercury could.
Freddie Mercury.
I like that. A different one each day.
That might be a good. I might be up for that.
In character.
How are your impressions? Could you do a John Madden? It's an easy one to do, right?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't do it every day. Maybe once a month.
you just do this, and then boom, and then that's the Blue 88. That's the play.
I don't think Saul could sit through you as Romo for an entire one.
Oh no. That's pretty
I
good,
don't
RT.
know, Sulk.
I don't know about the ACT. I don't know about that.
It sounds like you guys have a new theme. I'm entertained by this new option for Blue
Good job,
88.
RT. Good start. Good start, RT.
All right, Brad had some commentary on me saying that I got this segment going because I think our listeners are so fun and I love them.
Here's the thing. Wow, Maura. So this whole thing came about because you love the listeners and you think we're so funny. I actually happen to be a listener myself. I don't know what to say other than I wish I looked like Ken Walker right now. Man, bummer. Love you guys. Bye.
Is Brad flirting with me?
Have you seen Ken Walker, by the way, Brock? I was out there practice yesterday.
Yeah, he's a muscle ball.
Yeah.
Seriously, he's just one big. I don't even know if he could stretch. I think Brad was hitting on you. 866-979-3776. 866-979-3776. Was Brad just hitting on Maura?
Here we go. The instigator.
Yes or no?
I've missed this.
I think he was hitting on you, Maura. I think he was hitting on you.
Back in the group text, back to the instigating. I missed this. I missed this.
Okay.
Harry has a little advice for Scott's service.
Here's the thing, Scott. Seems like you're a little stubborn sometimes, but you should just walk a great hitter every once in a while and take a horrible hitter out of your lineup every once in a while when they have runners in scoring position. Okay? Bye-bye.
What was that music he was rocking?
Well, he could not put anybody else in with the hip pointer to Robles and taking Polanco out with the knee. There was nobody left there for Scott.
Yeah, here's the thing. Garver was the only one left.
Yep. And then on the other side, yeah, there's probably great debate. You could have easily put Devers on. There's a reason for it, I'm sure, behind the scenes that none of us know, but I'm kind of with you there, Harry, and I think a lot of people were. Don't let that guy beat you because he was a monster this weekend.
All right, Ryan has some interview tips for you, Brock.
Okay.
Should be.
So here's the thing. Brock, you need to stop prefacing questions with the amount of words that you can write in the space between your eyes. That way, the interviewee will have 5 more minutes to be able to answer your questions. Okay, bye.
Yeah, not fair.
I like this segment.
The amount of words you can fit with the
Yeah.
space between your eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the other thing. When I put the contacts
Yeah, I
in
say you probably
and I look in the
see.
rearview mirror, I'm like, ah! Not only the nose hairs and not only the big pores, and now I did see the huge Grand Canyon between my eyes. Crazy. And Ryan, I will totally own that, especially with Jerry Dipoto. I don't know why it brings out the worst of me. I feel like I got to preface all these things with Jerry all the time, so I totally own that.
All right, this one, I don't even know what this is. I'll let you guys listen. This is Bobby, apparently.
So, here's the deal. My name is Bobby, and I would like to know why Mike thinks he's better than everyone. Is it because he's from
Okay,
the East
I'm done. Stop. It's like Poltergeist meets
worst
Elmo.
Elmo
like,
voice,
just
yeah.
stop. Yeah, no, I can't do
Here's
that.
the thing.
Oh, you think they were going for Elmo?
I want to never hear that one. Yeah, that was more
he
Elmo.
was going for Elmo, and it came out Poltergeist. No thanks.
How long was that? Was that like 7 minutes long too? That'd be terrifying.
27 seconds.
Oh, they say 27 minutes.
Okay, Tim, again, has a bone to pick about a Brock tendency.
Let's go.
So here's the thing. I'm curious as to why Brock has to do the whole thing when agreeing with Bulk. I'm not telling you how to run your show, but it would be cool if we could stop that. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
That has been noticed by a few others as well, Brock.
Has it?
So here's the thing, yeah.
It's a crutch?
Yeah.
It's not a crutch. I actually, here's the thing, Lefko. Okay, I'll take some of the other coaching. The difference with the Brock and Salk show is we listen to each other. There's a lot of shows where one guy talks and then doesn't listen for 2 minutes, and then the other one. That's a form of engagement.
Verbal engagement. Okay.
Verbal engagement. I'm looking at you.
You're teaching the listeners. Yep.
I'm listening.
Yep.
I'm focusing. Okay. Sometimes is it a little bit too much? I'll own it again. I appreciate this feedback today. Who was it? Tim and Harry?
They're opening you up raw, really digging in.
All right, then we have another Brock here with a ranked suggestion.
So here's the thing, Brock. Mike has ranked Mike's, but I'm pretty sure he has not ranked Brock's.
Ooh, I've
What's
ranked
the
Brock's.
deal with that? Brock should be ranked, I believe. Me being a Brock, I'd like to have him rank Brock's.
So I actually have. I've actually ranked Brock's.
Have you really?
Yeah. You were here for it.
Was I?
Yeah. We can replay that because we don't have anything to rank today, I don't think. We'll have to figure it out. I literally ranked Brock's and didn't put you number one.
There was a Lesnar. There was a Lou.
What did I? Now I forgot who the number one Brock was. Brock Purdy
Not
was
Brock
up
Heward.
there.
The other Brock
Heward.
that messaged us. Apparently we didn't. It wasn't memorable. I'm sorry.
What's the text line saying about Brad? Was he hitting on Mora? Yes or no?
We only got one response that says yes.
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Is anybody listening there today? Hello?
Yeah.
You got
And then
one
other
more?
people telling us that they were doing that voice was Bobby from Bobby's World, the old Howie Mandel.
Oh. We got one last one of Brad joking about White Sox or something.
Yeah, we could do that.
Here's the thing. Get out the broomsticks and dustpans, Grandma, because we just swept possibly the worst team in the history of the league. Whoa! We're back. Let's go. Love you guys. Bye.
Didn't expect that sound effect. What's the bye?
Hassan made that sound the other day.
Did you guys qualify that everyone has to have the funny bye?
No.
Everyone's doing that.
No, I think Brad started that, and then it just picked
Everyone
up.
picked up.
Someone said it's from a podcast.
Yeah, it's from Smartless.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if they.
That's kind of Brad's thing. Brad was one hitting on Mora earlier, and that was Brad again. So that's kind of Brad's. That's kind of Brad's thing.
All right. So here's the thing. That was the thing. Every Thursday, 8 o'clock. Highly enjoyable, very entertaining, always good. So I will tune in when you do it next Thursday at 8. But we got some things that you need to know outside of what we just learned. Thank you, Brock. You're going to overemphasize it now. But I do appreciate the active, engaged listening. So keep that up. When we come back, we'll update you on the Mariners injury situation, what's going on with the Seahawks, and much more here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Final tally on the Mariners trades. In, Randy Arozarena, Jimmy Garcia, Justin Turner, JT Chargois. Out, Ryan Stanek, Jonathan Clase, 6 minor leaguers, Ty France. I was afraid that the Mariners were going to overpay. I think that's the good part. None of the big bats were moved. It's not just that the Mariners didn't get Vlad Guerrero Jr. You could argue they picked up the biggest bat that was moved in Randy Arozarena.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, this is pretty cool. Brock Heward here, and if you have some chronic pain like I have had in my knee that's not getting better, that's kept me up at night, then do what I did. Reach out to Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, with Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine right over there in Kirkland. He's Washington's leading specialist when it comes to interventional pain medicine, and I'm confident saying that because this has been his medicine for over 30 years, helping thousands dramatically reduce or eliminate chronic pain using interventional pain and regenerative medicine techniques. He's one of the few in the state with the experience and the training to diagnose and treat treat whatever walks through the door using a wide range of minimally invasive therapies, yes, including stem cell therapy, which I'll be getting done on my knee Monday after practice and after the show. Now an outpatient procedure that uses your body's natural healing process to rebuild damaged tissue, heal those injuries, and eliminate that pain. So don't let pain stop you from doing what you love in your quality of life. Call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, this morning at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Did you know AG Bob Ferguson is responsible for Washington being the only state with a social media advertising ban on political speech? In 2019, Bob's lawsuits made Washington the only state that doesn't allow you to run political ads on social media. Voter beware, because Bob's vendetta against your free speech won't stop when Bob gets what he wants. Governor. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors: Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industry's no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally challenging, but it can also be financially devastating. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients by covering essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. Since the year 2000, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $2.5 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help us make an even greater impact. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 18th at the Golf Club at Newcastle. It'll be an unforgettable afternoon of hope and inspiration, celebrating local cancer survivors. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 18th. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
With new leadership, the Seahawks are ready to get to work. Training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton on your home for the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Lab-grown diamonds might be new to retail, but not to Cantor Diamond. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor of Cantor Diamond. And even though I'm a fourth-generation natural diamond importer, I was the first to import these gorgeous, eco-friendly, low-carbon footprint, conflict-free, real and genuine diamonds to the West Coast. And unlike everyone who's recently gotten on the lab-grown bandwagon, we work with the largest growers in the world to bring you the best possible diamonds at the lowest possible price. We know what to import and what to reject. And because we're importing direct, working in our low overhead wholesale offices and making our own rings, bracelets, and earrings in our own facility, we can offer better pricing than anyone. So work with the leader, not the followers, and let us find you the perfect cultivated diamond for less, a lot less.
Call Cantor Diamond at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at KANTOR Diamond.
Summer's here and it's time for you to put yourself in the game. But you don't have to do it alone. Come visit the incredible showroom and the all-star team at Toyota of Kirkland. With a large selection of over 70 brand new Tundras and Tacomas on the lot, you'll be able to test drive one and take it home the same day. And don't forget about that lifetime powertrain warranty. Now that's how you become the MVP. Come in today or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com. toyotaofkirkland.com.
Hey, Bob Stelton here, and have you heard that metal roofs are all the rage? A metal roof lasts longer, it's more eco-friendly, and is a great option for adding solar panels. Asset Roofing is leading the local push in metal roofing, and they can even offer metal roofs for up to 30% less than their competitors. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Head to assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Sounds like we have a verdict, Maura. Is that right? On the here's the thing and the question that Brock posed.
360 says yes, he was hitting on Maura. Brock, your moans are disgusting. And then we had 206 with 100% Hitsville on old Pringle fingers.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, there it is. The verdict's in. So that's the first thing you need to know. Also, Mariners are back in town, an off day today, and then they'll begin a homestand with a series against the Phillies. But they are dealing with some injury issues. Yeah, we got some text on that. We will not keep dwelling on that. Sorry, Brock, as well. But they are dealing with some injuries, and also, a tough series loss. That they had an opportunity. Had a few opportunities in the game against the Red Sox, not able to get it done. And Scott Service talked about the mindset after dropping a close game in extras.
You got to go out, you got to keep grinding through it. And teammates try to pick them up, coaching staff, myself. That's why you're a team. You do pick each other up in these moments. And, we had other guys that had chances today too, just weren't able to get the big hit. So we're banged up right now a little bit. We got some guys that are playing, trying to play through some things. Polo's got some things. Obviously, Santos came out of the game today. Robles not available. We're in that point. We get a day off tomorrow. We really need it.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
I'll take this conversation two ways. This is where you've got to figure out, are you hurt or are you injured? And for some, that's a really easy x-ray, right? For JP, you are injured. You've got a fracture in your pinky, and as Jerry Dipoto told us, you're going to be much more about early September than you are at any time in August. Julio, you got a high ankle sprain, and that is a legitimate injury. How quickly you can come back from it without hurting yourself more, and then you go through the whole list that he just went through, man. This is a banged-up team with 52 to go. It is why you added reinforcements, but that Santos one is, of all of them, I don't like that at all because it's been added on to a list of a whole bunch of other injuries. The other person who comes to my mind is the late, great John Clayton, who would always say this during training camp. Like, you can lose one, right? You can lose one offensive lineman. You start to lose more than that, you get in trouble. You can lose one Mariner. You can lose JP. You can maybe even lose a Julio. But if you were to lose a Robles, if you were to lose a Polanco, if you were to lose a Santos,
all of them,
it starts to get very, very difficult.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, Seahawks had one injury yesterday, Brock. Very minor, not technically an injury, but we were talking about people being banged up. So Geno Smith was not out at practice yesterday, just resting after 2 days in pads. He had a sore knee and hip, and it was, as you kind of confused Trey Brown with. I don't think he was as well versed in the lingo, the ACT, as we were. Yeah. They just go out there and practice. They don't care what it's called. It was a walkthrough, but the Seahawks, the coaching staff deemed it ACT, alignment, communication, and technique. And Devin Witherspoon kind of explained what all that was about.
Focus more as mental, just getting mental reps and going through the walkthrough, just trying to make sure we're correcting everything we need to correct. And just focus on what we need to focus on. Just taking off the pads and stuff, just giving our body a break. But now we just got to activate our mental part of that. So.
One pretty revealing answer, though, from Trey Brown. We kind of asked him about some techniques and what they've been working on. And, some differences there. So
a little less leeway, I think, were his exact words when it comes to the operation now that we have all asked all of these guys. And I know you guys are really hunkered down out there. Do you enjoy that? You enjoy being out there at the VMAC?
I love being out there. I hate the drive back because I'm driving back from Renton to Ballard at 6 o'clock, and so is everyone else. They're going somewhere, and every part of this city's under construction. So, it's some good time. You have tub time. I have traffic time to sit alone with my thoughts and contemplate life and everything else going on. And then I sometimes stare out at the water, jealously looking at all the people on their boats. So that part, no. Everything else, yes. It's fun being out there. I just showed you the breakfast cookie I had. How can you not like it? How can you not like being out there, seeing football?
And you get pretty good food.
They treat you well. They give us food. We get to see practice. All of that is fantastic. So, yes, I like being out there. If I could transport home, I'd like that better.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Brock, we have a real, quote, real game tonight. It is a NFL contest involving two teams known as the Bears and the Texans. You're not going to see any recognizable starter, though. No Caleb Williams, no CJ Stroud, no DJ Moore. Sounds like no Roma Dunze. So no starters because this is an additional preseason game. But football starts tonight. It's the Hall of Fame game between the Bears and the Texans at 5 o'clock. You got the Tyson Bagent show, who might be the most random quarterback
he's pretty
in
good,
the NFL.
though, man.
But he's right for being good, yeah.
Yes, he got strong. He got a little strong arm down there, out there in Chicago. And I'll double down on my preseason bias even more. As this league extends to 17 games and ultimately to 18 games, you know who become really important on your roster? Players 25 through 53. And I know when these Seahawks were humming, man, in 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and calling these preseason games and blowing the doors off other people, it wasn't just because Pete played his starters more than everybody else. It was because players, well, at that time, like 30 through 70 were at a different level. And the kind of depth you had, the kind of depth you need. We're just talking about it with the Mariners. Like a 40-man roster in baseball is critical. It's not just a 25 or 26. And the more games we start to play in the NFL, you need a deep roster to sustain over the long haul.
Yeah, so those two teams are there because they have some Hall of Fame inductees that are going in as well this weekend. So the Bears have 3 former members going in: Julius Peppers, Devin Hester, and Steve McMichael. And then for the Texans, Andre Johnson. That ages me. This is a guy I was watching my whole childhood. So as you are contemplating your mortality with glasses and contacts and discovering what you actually look like, yes, certainly as we see guys who were recognizable what feels like just years ago go into the Hall of Fame. But man, Andre Johnson, when he was at the top of his game, I'm not sure how you covered him.
Well, it's like you asked Trey Brown that question, like with these big receivers. Like, what do you even do? And I appreciate Trey saying, well, you got to do them, different guys, different techniques. With DK, you got to go strength for strength. I don't know if you want to try to test his strength when you don't have it. So, yeah, Andre, there were other big receivers before Andre, and Julio was kind of in that same area, Julio Jones, same era as well. But, yeah, since then, there are a lot of them all over the league that are just grown men playing wide out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting kind of in the next few years, I guess, to figure out who will be the first ballot Hall of Famers out of this wide receiver group, this current crop. When you have Jefferson,
let's do that. I know you asked a question. Maura sent that over, the Bill Barnwell information. Maybe at the tail end of around the NFL.
All right. Well,
let's knock that out.
We do have something that you specifically wanted to address here, and it's very important because what came out after the Mariners game, from a personal standpoint, was very disturbing. So credit Daniel Kramer and Ryan Divish for kind of going over there. And that's what you can do. You have that cachet as beat writers. They went over, they talked to Mitch Garver, and he revealed some kind of disturbing comments that his family has gotten, that he has gotten actual death threats, he said. And it brought you back to some personal memories. So you have some experience with this. And I know you said you wanted to tease this as why a guaranteed contract for you was the best and worst thing 2 decades ago. So we will relate that back to you, share some memories of that, and kind of discuss the disturbing reveal that Mitch Garver mentioned yesterday. That's when we come back here. The Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
With new leadership, the Seahawks are ready to get to work. Seattle Sports will be at Seahawks headquarters, taking you onto the field with the team. Interviews, analysis, and exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage as Gino and the Hawks get ready for the 2024 season.
Ball picked up. Witherspoon comes near side. He is in. Witherspoon with the interception for a touchdown.
Training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton on your home for the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Chill or grill on a new deck this season. Get a free Makita Bluetooth radio or portable pellet grill with a qualifying PAR deck package purchase. But hurry, offer ends soon. Visit par.com for details. PAR, your total home building source. Go where the builders go.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy, that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, it's Mike Salk and look, summer is now officially upon us, so what do you have planned? Oh, it's got to be a lot, right? Vacations, road trips, seeing all that our beautiful area has to offer. You don't want to be limited by how you look or how you feel. You've heard how I went on the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, right? I lost 35 pounds in just 8 weeks. The results were incredible, and I couldn't be happier with how my life and energy improved. Well, I just want the same thing for you. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is looking for 710 listeners to help this summer. Here's the ask. Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. It's safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss, no pills, injections, or surgery. You eat real food that you get at the grocery store. You'll lose weight, look, and feel your very best. That feeling can be yours this summer. So what's the secret? Call Eastside Weight Loss Clinic at 425-588-0080 or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Pacific Power Batteries understands batteries for golfers, batteries for your car, your golf cart, and your bag's electric cart. We also sell good, used, 5-year-old E-Z-Go and Yamaha golf carts with a written satisfaction guarantee starting as low as $17.99. Located in Everett, Marysville, Mount Vernon, Bellingham, Monroe, and Wenatchee, you'll find our staff is well-trained in batteries and the latest charging technology. Pacific Power Batteries, with batteries for golfers.
Davis Law Group is proud to announce the return of the Life Support I-90 Charity Golf Tournament Friday, August 16th at Washington National Golf Course. Proceeds bring life-saving training and equipment to the first responders who serve travelers and residents on Snoqualmie and Blewett Pass every day. Sign up today at dlggolf.com.
Bonneville, Seattle, and Seattle Sports are looking for organizations that regularly distribute information about employment opportunities to job applicants or have job applicants to refer. If your organization would like to receive notifications of job vacancies, please notify Human Resources at 1820 Eastlake Avenue East, Seattle, Washington 98102, or email us at seattlealljobs@bonneville.com or call 206-726-6902. Bonneville is an equal opportunity employer.
Headed outdoors around the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
High five! Up top! Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon. always building.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Saul.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike Lefko, Brock KIRO here with you on a nice Thursday morning. The sun is out. Mariners are back home, ready to start a series against the Phillies tomorrow. They did lose the series yesterday. Tough loss. Did not hit well with runners in scoring position. Left 13 guys on base, lose by a run in extra innings. Brock, no one is denying that Mitch Garver struggled. I think he knows that as well. But then we learned afterwards, because of the good reporting by Ryan Divish and Daniel Kramer and everyone on that Mariners beat, that Garver is dealing with a lot of hatred that goes beyond just his on-field performance. And I think that's where we all have kind of come along the lines of that is completely unacceptable. I mean, criticize a guy's play all you want, and he's deserving of it. Yes, they're professionals, and yes, they get paid a lot of money. So it's fair to criticize his play. It's fair to criticize anyone's play who's struggling. We get criticized when we're struggling. So that is all fine. That's all within the scope of your job. But to get death threats, and this is what Mitch Garver told those reporters there yesterday in Boston. Ryan Divish tweeted this kind of in a nice thread here. So this first one, Garver said, quote, "It's probably the hardest I've ever had to grind. This is by far the worst I've ever played in my career. Tough on myself and my family with the death threats, the retire, the you suck, the bleep and kill yourself, and all that bleep. It's getting old. The only way I change it is if I play better, but it's like continuing right now. So the worse I play, more here, and rightfully so, I'm not playing well." So he went on and he kind of talked more about the performance, but I think that was the quote that jumped out there, that he acknowledged death threats and kind of verbatim some of the things that he has seen in some form, either on Twitter or on Instagram, however people are seeing that. That is being sent to Mitch Garver and his family.
Yeah, that's just sick, right? That's just sick and wrong. And I know doing this job, Mike, and you know it as well, and when you're in this business and you're doing media, I think one of the best pieces of counsel that I'd ever heard, whether I'm doing radio, television, is make it professional, not personal. Would you be willing to say this to somebody's face? Would you be willing to do that? Or, and if not, then don't say it. And certainly you have every professional, and this is also the line that we walk in media. When Mitch Garver's hitting a .168, slugging, so he's in the .168, his on base is 286. He's got a negative WAR, and he came here as one of the highest paid free agents on a 2-year, $24 million deal that they gave him because he's coming off of a World Series championship where he had produced, where he was a +2 WAR player last year, where he hit 270, where he slugged 500, where he had an OPS of 870. So you have an OPS right now of 622, almost 250 points less. So there is going to be massive fan frustration. When they yell at you, you suck, you're terrible, retire. Like, to me, that's, I heard a lot worse. I've been there and done that. It's hard when expectations are built and you come in, and I've said this many times over 15 years, right? When you've been given, and he's been given, there's more responsibility that comes with it. When you're the starting quarterback, there's more responsibility that comes with it. And you never cross the line. It is sick and wrong to have death threats. And I went through that experience in the NFL. And let me tell you, man, the NFLPA, the NFL security, the NFL folks are some of the best in the business. They didn't mess around. I mean, they don't mess around. And I would hope Major League Baseball and the Mariners security, and I hope that they would do the exact same thing and track those people down and hold them accountable, that this isn't right. This is crossing the line. This is becoming, a fan is a fanatic. You're becoming a sick idiot, and you're hurting the rest of the fans in doing so. So there's no place for that. But handling the criticism is a big part of it, Mike. It is. And it is, when I was reading this last night, it brought me back to a couple places. Brought me back to my last year of college. Believe it or not, Lefko, going into my final year of college, I was a Heisman favorite. I was a projected #1 pick to the Cleveland Browns. I was coming back to school, right? And I made a big scene of it. Looking back at it now, like, maybe I shouldn't have had my whole press conference to announce that I'm coming back to school. I was a very public figure when Husky football was a very big thing, and there were huge expectations, and I struggled a lot. my production, my touchdowns, my numbers, any thought of a Heisman race, heck, just trying to get to 500 as a team. It was a bad year, a hard year, a year where my parents couldn't sit in the stands. My mom couldn't. She had to drink wine out of the box with Aunt Bonnie in the minivan in the parking lot because she couldn't go in and sit in there and listen to the insults and you suck and you retire and bench him and you're horrible. All these things that come with playing the position. Molly had to get in a fight with a frat boy, right? Who was, slinging the same kind of personal insults or the same kind of, but that's fans. Those are the fanatics. That is, the side of it you might not like it all, but you got to deal with and you got to live with and understand this is unfortunately the trade-off that comes with all that popularity, all that notoriety, all that attention. And I think for Mitch too, the 2-year guarantee contract with big money, like this is the other ugly side of it that you've got to deal with when you don't produce. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'm telling him anything I don't know or he doesn't know. But I am telling you that is when they talk about not just physical health, but mental health, emotional health, watching his at-bats yesterday, I mean, he's a shell of himself right now. And I don't think that's all physical. I think it is these things that are just weighing on him in a way that he's never had in his career. Right in Minnesota, he's building, he's growing, he's a younger player, he's doing an excellent job, and he's having a lot of success. Yeah, kind of a rough season, but whatever. And then he goes to Texas and wins a World Series, key piece in that, right? And then and I remember we asked him in spring training about how this came about. He's like, they wanted me. They wanted me more than anybody, right? And they showed me that with a 2-year, $25 million, right? And I think that plays, unfortunately, a role in some of these fanatics out there just emotionally, mentally, just spent with the lack of production.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people don't really understand that what you say has consequences behind you just on a keyboard having no accountability, that anger. And one text right here, pretty discouraging to just get right now. So I'll call this person out on the Mac and Jack's text line. 253 number says, there's no way people care enough about Garver to send death threats. Sounds like an excuse to me. I guess it's possible, but I find it hard to believe. Well, there's the issue because people don't think of these athletes as humans. There's no empathy from a fan perspective because their well-being and their fandom, rightfully so, you're investing in your team. But when you think of athletes as just a player and don't have that empathy to see beyond what they do on the field, you're not going to understand that they deal with things like that. We see that common excuse, right? Oh, well, they're making millions. That's okay. They're millionaires. I don't feel bad for them. They're millionaires. Yes, you can criticize their performance on the field, but having a lot of money doesn't mean you're immune to the effects of that mental anguish that you just described.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, man. I got banged up right in training camp my last year and got put on the injury list. I didn't feel good. I honestly did not feel good about taking all of this guarantee money. I had it was year 6 for me. Again, I just share everything on this air, right, wrong, and different. But I had a deal that I negotiated where like 500 of my 600 was guaranteed as a 6-year vet, right? And because of that, I saw that money, and I remember sitting there and laying on the floor in Cheney with my back on, and saying to some of my veteran friends, I don't feel good about this. Like, I'm not going to earn this. Like, I'm not earning this. I'm not working for this. And they were mad. Woo! They were like, you shut up. Don't even say things like that. This is the way the league works. You got injured playing this game, and like, don't you dare for a second think that you haven't earned this money, even though you won't earn it this year. And I am sure there is a part of Mitch Garver that's like, man, this team really wanted me. They have given me this assurance. They have given me this generational wealth. And then I can't go out and play to the level that they're expecting me and needing me. And at every turn, of course, yesterday, Lefko, at every turn, who was up with runners on base? Right, baseball, that old saying, baseball, you get put in the game, the ball's going to find you. You're in this kind of struggle, mentally, emotionally, grinding. Of course you're going to come up with 2 guys on, and 2 guys on, and 2 guys on, and 2 guys on. Of course you're going to be the biggest culprit of a 1-for-14 with runners in scoring position right when you're in the lowest valley of your career. But this is where, man, teammates, as I had in Seattle, this is where staff, this is where people surround you, Salk said, yesterday, I thought in a pretty beautiful way as he's talking about this boys trip in Vegas, how important it is to have friends, deep-rooted friends. So when you're dealing with all this junk and you're dealing with getting booed off the field and you're dealing with the public humiliation that comes with playing in a public position, that you have people to lean into and pick you up, because it is not just, when Scott talks about all the physical ailments they're suffering right now, they are. But he's got a couple guys, and that guy in particular that's suffering mentally and emotionally, and you see how damaging that can be to performance as well. I fought it. I tried to pretend like I'm not hearing anything. I don't hear those boo birds. It wasn't as if my mom told me she couldn't come into the stadium, right? It wasn't as if Molly told me those stories before the game. Like, no, man, you do. You put those blinders on to go and compete, but you're also a human being, and you feel that level of disappointment. And if you're a competitor that cares, it can be almost more troubling, because then you're carrying that weight, that sensitivity, like you want to do this so bad for these people. So it is not when they say sports is 90% mental, that's what they're talking about, in my estimation. Not when you're succeeding, when you're handling the greatest failure and adversity you've ever handled in your life.
Yeah, two quick things here I think I want to just kind of point out as well before we do want to talk about some NFL storylines, including a good comment that Trey Brown had when we interviewed him at 7:45. But, Brock, I'm seeing a few texts that say, we'll just stay off social media. Like, I would advise Mitch Garver to stay off social media.
Yes.
He probably is, but guess what? He's got a wife. He's got family. And how do people communicate these days? You were talking about friends. Salk was talking about the importance of catching up with his friends.
Yep.
Mitch Garver's wife probably keeps up with her friends on Instagram, on social media. And
in
the kind
some
of
of these
people
cases,
are going to
people
send
are
death
sending
threats are
stuff to
tagging.
their wives,
yeah, and that
too.
right. So if they're going to be the people that do that, they are going to tag everyone associated with them. So, it's easy to see who someone's married to on Instagram. They tag their spouse. You can click on their profile. That's probably where it's coming from. I don't think Mitch Garver himself is seeing a lot of it. I bet it's his friends that are seeing it. I bet his wife is seeing it, and then she brings it up to him because she's concerned. You mentioned Molly having to fight some guy because she was getting it secondhand.
Yeah.
So Mitch Garver,
and that's where it's
he's
harder.
going to stay off social media.
Yeah.
But when he has his wife come to him, that weighs on you more.
Oh,
probably than
way
someone
more.
just sending it to you directly.
Way more. When I heard that, like, that my mom and dad have to deal with this, and my dad goes to the bathroom during the quarter break, and he has people, like at the urinal next to him, like, man, that Ewert sucks. I mean, I wish he would just quit. I wish this guy would never play. I wish he would play too. He's horrible. Like, all of those things, way harder for me that my parents had to deal with that, that Molly had to deal with that, that my grandma and grandpa, right, had to deal with that as they listened to the radio or heard from people. And again, this is the trade-off. Like, you want to play at the highest level? You want to go compete? You want all the amazing stuff that came out of being the quarterback at the University of Washington, including this job 30 years later. It's a byproduct of me playing that. You're going to wear it sometimes, and you're going to fail. And when you play a lot, and Damon played for 3 years, and I followed for 3 years, people got tired of us and tired of hearing about it, and tired of I'm done. And, when we watch every night and Mitch is struggling the way he is, fanatics and fans that are so passionate, Mike, and want this so bad, that don't have apathy, that aren't checked out, that want this to happen so bad for them and the team and the community that have just been starving for this, there's going to be some of that frustration that comes out. But there is a line. There is some level of class. There is some level of decorum that you would hope even the most rabid fanatic would understand. Hey, man, not the time or place to take it to that level whatsoever.
Yeah.
The benefit of him. You're hurting your player right now. That doesn't mean you got to go out, and I've seen on Twitter, if anything, he needs a big applause. No, he doesn't need any of that. Right? He needs to get himself out of this as best he possibly can, and that's going to be the emotional, and it's going to be the mental, and those things.
Just don't make it worse, right? Don't be a human. Show some empathy.
Correct. You want to show passion? Great. You want to boo me? Great. You want to boo Mitch Garver? Great. That's what you sign up for. You sign up for that when you're playing and you're the starting quarterback in the college or the NFL. You sign up for that criticism. You play horribly, and I walk out to the players' lot, or I get injured all the time, and I can't help and I can't contribute. Hey, man, I got to wear that. That's what comes with it. It's the other side of it. These are human beings, and they have a right to voice their opinion. They have a right to be passionate and angry and mad. But there is a line, and you don't cross it. And I would hope that the Mariners fans that may have done that, I don't know. You know what forgiveness is too? Send a tweet. Send it right back at him and say, man, I was a total fool. And I'm not helping you. And I was out of my mind, and I was irrational and emotional, and there's no place for this. So hopefully he gets some of that feedback as well.
But Brock, what's interesting too, one final quick point here. The on-field criticism is warranted because he was a high-profile free agent signing. But if you want to look at Mitch Garver's raw numbers, second on the team in home runs, second on the team in RBI. So yeah, he might be the face, but this is a lineup-wide epidemic. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's just, hey, he has struggled a lot. He's also, because of the lack of help around you, he's second on the team in home runs, second on the team in RBI. So there's a big gap between Cal Raleigh and everyone else. But yeah, it's
here's the one other challenge with baseball too, right? I wore a face mask and a helmet, put pads on.
Right.
All of this every single night, every time he is in that batter's box by himself, he's being judged and evaluated, right? It is a lonely place. And as he said, like, this is the lowest low I've ever had to try to grind out of. And he's a guy that tries to stay steady, right? He's not one of these that's going to snap his bat over his knee, not going to throw his helmet. Like, he's trying as a professional to be as steady as he can possibly be, which I think also sometimes from an energy standpoint can be misconstrued and be frustrating for fans. But this is the emotional, man. This is the mental. This is the side of it that we don't talk a lot about. It's uncomfortable to do so, but this is the side that if Mitch Haniger is going to get right in the box, in my opinion, having lived it and dealt with that kind of just, he's going to have to go and produce.
Yeah, it's an important conversation, and it requires nuance too, which is often sometimes tough to get into on Twitter or any social media platform, but there is a fine line and an important distinction to be made between criticizing someone's performance and criticizing their personal well-being. So I'm glad you shared those experiences and anecdotes. I'm sure that was not a fun memory to relive, but I think it's important context to bring to this conversation. Just kind of explain why that was such a big deal.
Yeah, and I know we're not going to get to around the NFL. Yeah. I apologize because this is this got a lot of layers and a lot of depth to it. And frankly, I'll tell you this too. Okay, because of going through some of those fires, Lefko, because of dealing with some of that, when I transitioned to this world. And I say this to Titus, I say this to his teammates all the time. Like, man, I wish in some ways that my mindset as a player could have been and is what it is as a broadcaster. Because guess what? If I open up the old Twitter machine and we do mean tweets and have fun with it, some of the stuff that you will get as a broadcaster is just as personal. Likewise, when I did a Miami game years ago, we had to have ESPN security. They met me at the airport. I had to have a security guard with me that entire weekend because I had gotten death threats, like on Twitter that week leading up to that broadcast. Like, you come to Miami, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna hunt you down. Like, you don't ever talk about our program that way. And so, you know, in much the same way that I'm sure MLB and the NFL and ESPN comes to your defense, but I can't, and I don't sit and think about all of that. You just can't do it. At 18 and 19 and 20 is a lot harder for me to do that, Lefko, than it is at 45, 46, 48. And know that, man, there is going to be irrational, emotional fans. And no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they are going to be so invested in their team that they will be irrational and they will be fanatical and they will be emotional. And, you know, once again, that's the side that comes with doing this job. You want to do this job? You want to talk into a microphone every morning? You're going to have to deal with some players that don't like what you say. You want to do this job and call college football games and big games, which I absolutely freaking love? You got to understand the trade-off is going to be some real negative stuff every once in a while and some folks that won't like what you've got to say, but that's the side of it. And Mitch Garver, I'm not saying anything you don't already know. Like, you want to do this job and you get paid to be a difference maker for this team and you struggle in this kind of way, there is going to be some emotional blowback. Just don't cross the line.
I do appreciate all the discourse we're getting on the Mac and Jack's text line. So, yeah, while there were some texts that we didn't agree with, there's a lot of good, compassionate responses and a couple questions as well. So I think I want to kind of highlight this one, Brock, because they relate it back to you. So the 360 says, I hope Mitch feels a little bit of weight coming off his shoulders. And now this is me inserting my opinion. Yeah, maybe he was trying to keep this inside and internal for a while. But then the 360 kind of asked you, Brock, do you think being open at the time when you and your family are dealing with that would have helped with the pressure?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't open with your coaches.
Yeah, just sharing what you're dealing with or suffering with.
Yes. Yeah. But open into the public realm, like it's it's one of those, how much of the haters do you want to acknowledge?
Right.
How much can you inflame some of that if you do pay, heed to that and attention to that? So that word nuance is a good one. That fine line is a good one. How you walk, that's a good one. Amidst my struggles, the last thing I wanted or I was going to do is be like, yeah, man, it would really help if you stopped booing me. No, that's not your right to tell them. Your right is to go out and throw touchdowns and win games and know that is just going to be the back and forth that comes with fandom. You do that, guess what they're going to do? They're going to cheer like freaking crazy. If Mitch Garver comes home and has a 9-game homestand and hits 4 bombs and wins you games, you know what they're going to do? They're going to cheer him like crazy. It's the back and forth that comes with being a competitor in the ring.
Yeah, I think that's the good and bad, too, of baseball, right? We can just kind of zero in. We have a microcosm of every single game, day in and day out. So with football, yeah, if you had a bad game, that lingered.
Yep.
But also, if you had a great game, you were not going to get that criticism for, a full week. With
That's
baseball, you could have a good game, and then all of a sudden, in the course of what happened this series.
Yep.
So the Mariners win Tuesday. Everything is good. The Mariners lose yesterday. Or Wednesday, right? My days, yesterday was Wednesday.
Yep.
So the Mariners lose yesterday. And because Mitch Garver, that was highlighted, that he struggled and he came up in all those key situations, didn't perform, he deals with that. So until you do well, and you might go through stretches of 8 to 10 games without doing well, it is just going to magnify and escalate and build on top of itself.
Yep. And then you got a market like this one, man. This market wants it so bad.
Yeah.
They want
you
it.
Can't blame them. Yeah,
They want it so bad. I would talk to players and teammates, and even now in this capacity, right? You feel like sometimes as a player, like, yeah, man, I'm doing my job. Like, this is a job for me. And he mentioned that, like, I'm coming to work every day. This is my job. This is my livelihood. I don't have some of the emotional attachment, and certainly generationally, that this fan base has for 40-something years, right? Like almost 50 years. Like, this is the attachment that I want this so bad. That sometimes I would even say to a teammate, like, can you believe? Like, it almost feels like these people, these fanatics, want this so much more than some of our own teammates do, because you're just trying to be a professional and do the job that you're paid to do and come in to produce. And yeah, man, so that is the other side of it, that this Seattle Mariner fan base, and the positive of that is Lefko, when they win this thing, and when they win a World Series.
It was the Cubs dynamic, yeah.
I mean, the parade for the Seahawks was unbelievable. The parade, when that happens for these Mariners, is going to be equal, if not more, because that passion and that want to is so stinking high.
Yeah, Cubs, Red Sox, he dealt with those massive, long droughts.
Yep.
The Mariners have a long, long playoff drought, and then you had one playoff appearance, so the expectations are that would continue. So, yes, Mitch Garver walked into a situation where he was under more pressure and more scrutiny than at any other point of his professional career. So, again, back to sum it all up, because we do have to wrap it up. It was a tremendous conversation, Brock. Important that we got this out there. Professional criticism is fine. That is what they sign up for. All of that. Job performance, yes. Do not take it over the line. Do not threaten someone's family, their life, their well-being, who they are as a person, just going about their day and living their life.
Because you're a reflection on all of us. You are a reflection on all of the Mariner fans.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That the Stewalds and the Garvers and these guys that come through here and have it, right? And they know that the majority are not that way. But that bad apple upsets a cart. And you do reflect on everybody else that, like you, wants it so bad, but have some decorum, have some class, and have some character in being a Mariner fan as well.
All right, good conversation there. I think it was important to hear. If you tuned in at the end of it, please go back and listen on our Brock and Salk podcast page at seattlesports.com. We're going to go back to the Seahawks. They're underway in training camp. That training camp coverage presented by The Landing in Renton. Our most intriguing Seahawk countdown continues. This is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike 3.
With Jeff Passan, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
I don't think that it is unrealistic to believe that they have the talent and the ability to win a championship with this team.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Their DNA remains intact. This is a rotation-dependent team.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally challenging, but it can also be financially devastating. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients by covering essentials like food, utilities, and child care, so patients can focus on healing. Since the year 2000, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $2.5 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help us make an even greater impact. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 18th at the Golf Club at Newcastle. It'll be an unforgettable afternoon of hope and inspiration, celebrating local cancer survivors. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 18th. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. PacificLamp.com.
Hey, are you thinking about an electric car or truck? Then visit Chevrolet Buick GMC at Puyallup today to meet the electric lineup from Chevrolet and GMC. Hey, Brock Heward here, and from the revolutionary GMC Hummer SUV and pickup to the Chevrolet Blazer EV, Equinox EV, and even the first ever all-electric Silverado EV, Chevrolet Buick GMC at Puyallup has the team to share all the benefits of going electric. To learn more, visit them at ChevroletBuickGMC@Puyallup.com or go see them in Puyallup. Chevrolet Buick GMC at Puyallup, a better experience.
Summer is here, and now's the time to break through those weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and we have a proven system that can help you lose weight and get healthy. No drugs, no side effects, no calorie counting, no exercise. Just teaching you the simple steps to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long term. Remove the stress of trying to do this on your own and picture being down 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days with our help. At Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, we know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle changes. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
It's one thing to take the weight off, but it's another thing to keep it off, and that's where Eastside Weight Loss Clinic really shines. The maintenance phase actually works. It's a program that is sustainable for the rest of your life.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of minute.
It doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Mike Lefko, Brock Ewert with you. You guys have been doing this every day, and I realized yesterday, Brock, I don't think you accounted for the fact that your countdown's going to be off.
Is it?
You're going to have to double up a little bit because tomorrow the Marine Layer guys are in here. So unless they're going to
I believe from what I was told by Kyle Brown, I think they're going to they're going to continue the
countdown.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, look at me. I was trying to plan for a problem that wasn't going to exist. So the countdown will be right on track to end right before the first preseason game next Saturday, but right now we continue it.
Number 7.
I like the music more than anything, honestly. Smooth. Good vibes here. A smooth jam going on there. Number 7, Brock. Do you want to do the honors? You want me to make the announcement here? How does this usually work?
Oh, yeah. Salk kind of runs this segment.
Salk runs it. All right. You just sit back and kind of take it easy, like these jams here. Number 7, he's a guy you guys talked to, right? A couple days, weeks ago, however long it's been. Boye Mafe. Number 7 on your list of most intriguing Seahawks. You're going to have to help me here, though, because I don't know if I'd put Boye Mafe number 7. I might put him higher. Maybe I put him lower.
Is he good or is he great?
No,
is he good or great?
Here's the thing. Uchenna, who you guys did yesterday, I would put higher for most intriguing because I think a lot of the defense relies on him. But I get where we're going here with Boye Mafe, that could he take that next step? That is the intriguing potential. And if he does, what that could mean for this defense.
Correct. I think that's probably why you put him ahead of Uchenna. You know Uchenna's ceiling. You know what he can do in this league. And I don't think Uchenna, just the way he's built and equipped, maybe I'm dead wrong, but he doesn't feel like a double-digit sack kind of guy to me. He feels like a 6, 7, 8.
This defense?
Kind of like he feels like a 25 home run guy. Boye Mafe showed you through 7 weeks last year with 7 straight sacks that he can be a 40 home run guy. And then obviously it went dry after that and there wasn't much added to it. But can you be one of these elite double-digit sack guys? That's really the line of delineation in the NFL. Kyle Van Noy and Clowney both got 9.5 there in Baltimore. Can you be a double-digit sack guy? Boye Mafe, off the bus, says yes. 6'4". He told us he cut a few pounds. He's not quite 260. Want to be a little bit lighter, be a little bit more explosive off of that edge. He's got the raw tools and the goods to be a double-digit sack guy in this league. He's also got a system now, and that's what you were alluding to and what he shared with us earlier this week. You got a system now with its versatility that should bring out the best in everybody. Here was Boye.
It's very, this is probably going to be the most versatile we've been used since I've been in Seattle. And I think that the biggest thing that I love about this defense is that you can do so many different things in one spot. It doesn't matter where you are in the field. Your assignment can always move and your responsibility can always be different. So to me, I think that's the beauty of it, is that you're not doing one job and one job only. There's so many ways you can be moved around, different positions. Just because you're in one spot doesn't mean you have to do that job. You can, however coach wants to use us, he can really just move us around and manipulate and make different pictures for the quarterback. And ultimately that's going to help, especially in pass rush, having different pictures for the quarterback and making sure that as a player you have more time. That's one of the most frustrating things as a pass rusher. You get off the edge, you have a great move, and then you reach out and the ball's gone. But with the way that our defense is going now, I feel like we're just going to make quarterbacks pat the ball, make us get a little bit more time in that standpoint.
With Boye, I did have to look, Brock, and it was funny because after that streak of 7 straight sacks, 1 week a sack in 7 straight weeks, I was like, well, I don't think he got one the rest of the year. Oh yeah, he did. When he faced the worst offensive line in human history that was ever assembled by the Tennessee Titans, and he got 2. But yeah, you're right. Outside of that, he was largely not ineffective, but teams figured him out. Teams realized, well, this is a guy that we got to divert our attention to. So after hearing that, and from everything we've heard from all these defensive guys, Leonard Williams, when he spoke at lengths, kind of glowing about Mike McDonald's defense, adaptability creativity and being able to make in-game, week-to-week adjustments and all of that we kind of saw out there in your favorite ACT line that you've been dropping on everyone. But what's key in a practice like that is making sure every minute detail is down pat, that it's muscle memory at this point. You don't have to think about what you have to do while a play's happening. Then all these changes and all these complex schemes, they're going to keep offenses off balance every single week of the season, and not just to a point, not just until they adapt and we struggle to keep up with it. That's where, hey, you guys have had all these edge rushers up there, and I get it, because you could unlock a lot with what we have heard and what we anticipate seeing in this new defensive system.
That good old-fashioned football axiom that you just want your defenders to react and not think.
That's why Dave Wyman's so good. Don't make Dave Wyman think.
That's right. Just Dave, here you go. I'm going to wind you up, and you just go react. You just go hit everything inside. You just go drop those bombs in the afternoon as you do on Bob's forehead every day with all those strong opinions and everything else. Yes, you just react. I don't want you thinking. Maybe dropping bombs was the wrong way to phrase that and say that.
The imagery. I don't know where you're going there.
Yeah.
It's all right. No, I get the point.
Dave's cutting it loose. He's just... You don't want Dave on a show sheet, right? You want him reacting, not thinking about everything he's got to say. Personally, I would
like Dave more on a show sheet, but I get the point. Yes.
Yeah, the beauty of what Boye was saying there, let me cut to the short of it, is we react and we make them think. And too often, these offenses have not had to think and process. Stafford's got a gimme. Purdy's got a gimme. He's got a gimme. This ball is out. This ball is out. Because these guys know where they're going with the ball. The looks are not complicated. Sam Howell has a career day against you, throwing for 300 yards. And as he said to Salk and I, it was kind of nice. Kind of knew where they were lined up, kind of knew what they were doing, and carved them up pretty good. That should not happen this year. Not going to be perfect. Not going to be the number one defense. It's going to be a learning curve, all sorts of all this stuff you add to it. But we shouldn't be sitting there going, oof, boy, that quarterback, he knew exactly where he wanted to go every single play. He sure made it easy. Now, you pressurize that guy from the neck up, and then you get to him with the Boye Mafes, the Leonard Williams, the Darrell Taylors, the Derek Halls, the Uchenna Nwosus, the Jaron Reeds, the Byron Murphys, a front eight there that envy of a lot of people in the league.
Now,
a lot of folks in the league would like to have that personnel in their front eight for sure.
I was going to say, without trying to play too much of a spoiler, because I know you and Salk know the final names on this list, but is there a position group, and we've kind of talked about the edge rushers these last couple days, is there a position group or a guy that you've talked about already that you think, well, this could have the biggest impact, make or break on one aspect of this team?
Oh, there's no question. And I've been adamant about this, and I will be through these preseason games. If this defensive line plays to their ceilings and goes from good to great for a Darrell Taylor and a Boye Mafe and a Derek Hall, who's not even been good yet, if he gets to good, but those two others go good to great, that defensive line, we know it. You know it in this league. It covers a lot of other warts and a lot of other ills. So that D-line room is as dominant as I think they're capable of being. Good things follow.
That is our most intriguing Seahawk countdown, number 7, Boye Mafe. So single digits. You're getting close to the first preseason game that comes up against the Chargers on the 10th. And then they're going to Nashville for a week. Joint practices that some think are a big deal. Some maybe don't think as much of a big deal. Certain Seahawks weren't as fond of that.
Do you know how hot and humid it's going to be?
I think maybe that's why. Going down to Nashville, sweating in the thick, soupy summer weather out there. So they'll go down there. They'll have the Titans. Their final preseason game after that, and then it's the season. But the countdown's getting close.
I'll have to ask Eric Kennedy how that works. The Seahawks borrow the equipment room and all the laundry machines. Have you seen the laundry machines back in the equipment room there at the facility?
I have not. No.
They are gigantic.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get the special access.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Absolutely gigantic. And I can only imagine padded practices and that heat and humidity. Oh, gosh, how gross that is. Think about that. All the people behind the scenes, right, to throw that nasty, just, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
We try not to.
No, it must be like that scene in Silence of the Lambs where they put the guy puts a little formaldehyde underneath his nose to I can't even smell this. I bet those guys probably have to do that as well.
Were you a smelling salts guy, Brock?
I've done smelling salts. Yeah, I've tried some smelling salts.
When you played?
Yeah, every once in a while. Sure. Every once in a while, just for fun. And maybe on the UFL sidelines, too.
Just for fun.
Yeah, maybe down there on the sidelines as those guys are, doing their
You just picked him up and did him?
Oh, I don't pick him up, no.
While you're walking on the sideline before a hit? Had to get fired up? Yeah,
this is getting a little gross.
Yeah, I know. Our training camp coverage presented by The Landing in Renton. We have to turn it back around to catch you up on everything you need to know with the Seahawks and the Mariners, and then we'll get back to some things happening around other NFL training camps. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Final tally on the Mariners trades. In, Randy Arozarena, Jimmy Garcia, Justin Turner, JT Chargois. Out, Ryan Stanek, Jonathan Clase, 6 minor leaguers, Ty France.
I was afraid that the Mariners were going to overpay. I think that's the good part.
None of the big bats were moved. It's not just that the Mariners didn't get Vlad Guerrero Jr. You could argue they picked up the biggest bat that was moved in Randy Arozarena.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman speaking to those who have recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer. I spoke with Dr. Meyer, the medical director of the Swedish Radiosurgery Center, and Dr. Meyer said Swedish CyberKnife patients are really satisfied with their experience. They report very few side effects, and they're seeing excellent cancer control 10 years later. To learn more about CyberKnife for prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate or call 206-320-7187. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Taking Nugenix Total T makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas, right? Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yes.
Text radio to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
You want to talk about this, Park? You really want to do this?
I do.
You want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
To celebrate Team USA going for gold, Xfinity is offering a gold medal deal now through August 11th. Get their best offer yet with 300 megabit Xfinity internet and one line of unlimited mobile for just $35 a month for a year and a free 5G phone. And the action doesn't stop there. Save on some of the biggest names in streaming by adding the new Xfinity Stream Saver with Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $15 a month. And don't wait, because when the Olympic Games end, so does this deal. So go to Xfinity.com/Team USA, call 1-800-XFINITY, or go visit a store today. Get the fastest connection to Paris, only with Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply to internet and mobile. Stream Saver price subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Free 5G phone requires eligible trade-in. Select models only, but make the call and don't wait to 1-800-XFINITY.
Tired of slow play? Kickstart your day with an early round of golf. Get a round in before work with early morning light and faster pace of play. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, there's a premier course near you. Play Interbay, Jackson Park, Jefferson Park, West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter E. Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Padden, Ocean Shores, or the Crossroads Par 3. The courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Go to premiergolfcenters.com to book your tee time today.
Hi, I'm Stuart Holmes, Elections Director for Washington State. Our primary is August 6th. Make your choices, sign your ballot envelope, and return it to an official drop box by 8 p.m. August 6th. Or, if you mail your ballot, make sure it's postmarked by Election Day. Make your mark, vote now.
Sponsored by the Office of Secretary of State and aired in cooperation with the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Seahawks back out on the field later this afternoon. They'll continue their training camp practices. Yesterday, a very light practice, essentially just a walkthrough by the coaches dubbed ACT, alignment, communication, and technique. So there were no helmets on. There were no shoulder pads. They didn't even have the jerseys on. Mike McDonald, when they've been out there practicing, they've worn their game jerseys. No jerseys being worn, just the practice shirts with their numbers. Didn't have the names back there. So it was a walkthrough in the truest sense of the word. And DK Metcalf, well, he was asked about it, and I don't know, he kind of had a so-so reaction.
I don't know. I mean, it was more mental, but, I mean, we just still got out here and ran the plays. But yeah, it was just a mental day. I don't appreciate it or hate it or love it. It was just another day of training camp.
It's different, though.
Yeah. For you, yeah. We still out here in the sun running around.
DK's presser yesterday was very
how would
not
you
stir the pot.
characterize it?
It was just, I'm not going to give. I think he is in full veteran mode. He is just not going to give anything that can become a soundbite. He's got a great personality. I mean, so afterwards, this was the best moment of the entire presser, was afterwards, he walked off, a little kid yelled, DK, can I have your gloves? My hands are the same size. And the kid's like 6 years old, so clearly they're not. And DK turned, laughed, he goes, for that? Yeah. So he gave him the gloves. So he does have a good personality, but I think he's kind of gone in robot mode, right? When it comes to these press conferences and comes to the media obligation, he's not going to give much. The rest of that was the same thing. But
well, didn't he also say the one thing he learned from last year, or that he's going to get better at, was trying to respond to dumb questions from the media or something along those lines?
Let's see. Yeah. Here we go.
Yes.
I'm trying to control what I say in the media when they don't ask me good questions. So, yeah, working on my responses there. Still needs work.
So, yeah.
Okay. I kind of like that last little part. It still needs a little work.
It's his personality there, but I think DK has started to realize, look, I don't, me personally, DK Metcalf, I don't get a benefit for being up here, so I'm just not going to do anything to stir the pot. I want to focus on playing football.
I think that's fair. I think that's
fans,
fair.
Yeah,
I
they
think that's
appreciate
fair.
that. So those are the answers there. But it was helpful in some other ways to kind of walk through that technique. It was just funny contrast of, hey, it was important for the rookies, important for the young guys. A veteran like DK Metcalf, he's been through these. Maybe not as important for him out there yesterday.
Yeah, everybody on their own path. You talk to A.J. Barner, and it's critical. Like, I got to do my job. You talk to these rookies trying to figure out their role and where they're going to be, critical. You talk to Trey Brown, as we did this morning. Yeah, man, it is important because there is less leeway. Those are his words, not my words, when it comes to comparing the two. We'll get back to that in 10 minutes or so. But getting that work in, not a lot of reps. This thing flies by. We're going to be to the mock game Saturday. We're going to be to game week with the Chargers next week. They're going to be out of town in Tennessee the following, and the regular season is right around the corner.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Mariners are back home. They begin the series against the Phillies tomorrow, but Brock, they are banged up.
Polo's been struggling with the knee issue here the last couple days, and really affecting him today, certainly on defensively, just reacting to balls, and you can start to notice it in the batter's box too, and I don't want to lose him to lose any momentum, what he's had offensively, so we decided to get him out of the game. Santos, arm issue, kind of a bicep issue. We'll get an MRI on that when we get back tomorrow and kind of see where that's at. So, you need all these guys, but there's things you have to grind through, and there's adversity, whether it's through injuries or whatnot, but at the end of the day, we are competing very well. I like what I saw. We just needed big hits today, and we didn't get them.
Yeah, should get a Julio update as well tomorrow, Brock. And that might be just reassessing and saying, hey, he's not ready yet. But Justin Hollander did mention before they went on the road, when they get back, they'll reassess Julio's high ankle. And technically, he could come off of it now. It's been 10 days since they put him on the IL, but they have to reassess. And that'll be an important update to get for this depleted Mariners lineup tomorrow.
We asked Dipoto about that yesterday, and even yesterday's update, it's going to be different than the one 48 hours later that you're referencing, that Justin is going to share Hollander, and hopefully he can come back. You know that he's watching this and looking at these guys, and they're 110 games in, and there are a bunch of them on fumes. And kudos to Cal Raleigh that never makes an excuse, never has an explanation. All he does is play every single day, either as a catcher or DH, but it's mounting. It's JP, it's Julio, it's Santos, it's Polanco, it's Robles. Goodness gracious. It's a bunch of them, and they need that off day today.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Katie Ledecky's dominance continued yesterday. She might be one of the most impressive Olympic swimmers of all time. Her 8th gold medal of her career, and she won the 1,500-meter freestyle, Brock, by 10.3 seconds. 10, start counting out to 10. 10 seconds is a long time when it comes to things like dead air. Okay, see, that's too long. I can't even have you count to 10. It's that long. So Katie Ledecky, nearly 11-second differential between her and second place. Didn't even fit in the traditional shot that NBC uses to televise its swimming coverage. They had to go to the quote, all 22 shots, like you might see in football. They had to pan all the way out, see the entire natatorium to show where a competitor was. But Katie Ledecky, very impressive as the U.S. starts to round into form. Gymnastics, swimming, track and field starting in a few days as well. So
1,500 meters is 4,921 feet in 3.1.
I saw you doing that math
inches.
down there. You're typing in
almost 5,000 feet. A mile is 5,280 feet. So she swam nearly a mile in 15 minutes.
I paddleboarded 6 miles the other day. I was exhausted, so I can't imagine doing that long.
She
it took me
has the
hours.
top 20 times in the history of mankind, I believe, in that race. And yesterday set a new Olympic record as she shaved 5 seconds off of that personal best time. She is an unbelievable machine.
And Brock, it's being called a slow pool out there in Paris by those in the know. If you're up to date on your swimming out in the Olympics.
How about the Seine River? Would you paddleboard in the Seine River?
Yeah, as long as I didn't fall in.
I don't think I would.
If I could get on the board. See, here's the thing about paddleboarding. People don't really realize. If you're good at it, you're never getting wet. If you fall, you're getting wet. But you can hop onto the board, you can hop back off and never touch the water. So that's how I would do it. Swim? No. Good luck to anyone who's trying to swim in that thing. So
that's everything you need to know.
That's everything you need to know.
And something you don't need to know.
We do have something you mentioned, Brock, from Trey Brown that he talked to us about at 7:45 when he had the chance to interview him. Really impressive interview. That might tie into our ranked as well. We're still bantering around ideas. I have one that I don't think you like, so you have countered with another idea that we could go with. So we'll get to that. With some more things happening around NFL training camps as well. It's the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
The last couple games, I've noticed the three of us just having more fun watching this team.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I feel differently about the Mariners today than I did in the weeks prior.
Yeah, and you should. Part of the reasons why you should is because of some of the performances we're seeing. Robles playing some good ball. Polanco doing his thing. Randy joining the squad and fitting right in. You're seeing at-bats that are a bit more professional.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about summertime. Bikinis, the occasional Speedo, sunshine, and almost always more drinking. But don't let the wine coolers or hard lemonades fool you. Too many drinks at the beach can get you in a whole lot of trouble. You're sporting a farmer's tan, but the police are wearing heavy, dark uniforms. And it's not because they're comfortable. If you don't take preventative measures, your summer tan can become a costly burn. Take a designated driver with that aloe vera and SPF 50. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to set up a free private consultation. Jail is no place to ask, missed a spot, mind getting where I can't reach? Be reasonable this summer. And always remember, 1-800-DUI-AWAY has your back. 1-800-DUI-AWAY!
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS, Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is a paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Under 12 years of Bob Ferguson as Attorney General and Chief Prosecutor, we in Washington have seen a lot of increases. This, of course, includes a 26% increase in violent crime, 58% increase in homicides, and Washington ranking 4th in the country in stolen vehicles in 2023, behind California, Texas, and Florida. Oh, and according to the FBI, Washington was the 8th most dangerous state between 2020 and 2022. Don't ask for help if you drive a Hyundai or a Kia that's been stolen. What has AG Bob Ferguson done? Bob's been busy planning his governor's campaign and keeping Washington last in the country in law enforcement officers per citizen. As the leader of the Bob for Bob committee, I encourage you to vote Bob if you want more of these crippling policies for Washington, so Bob gets what he's always wanted, governor. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors, Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
The 2024 Seahawks season is almost here. Get fitted for game days with jerseys, caps, and tees, including the 2024 training camp collection. Visit the Seahawks Pro Shop at the Landing in Renton and Lumen Field, or online at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop. Kick off summer by checking out the incredible showroom at Toyota of Kirkland. With a wide selection of Camrys on the lot, including the brand new 2025 Hybrid Camry, along with the new inventory of Tundras and Tacomas. All with a lifetime powertrain warranty, you're in for a summer to remember. The unbeatable team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive, and you can take that car home the same day. Get your summer groove on at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Hey golf fans, Dan Wilson here, inviting you to join me at the 2024 Boeing Classic. See Masters champions and Golf Hall of Famers live at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge from August 9th through 11th. It's your chance to experience the only PGA Tour champion stop in the Pacific Northwest and see golf's biggest stars. Grab the whole family and come on down to join the action. It's a golf experience you won't want to miss. The Boeing Classic at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge from August 9th through the 11th. For $20 tickets, visit BoeingClassic.com.
High five! Up top! Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep. Dave's feeling it, but it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping. Woo!
Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Need Friday night plans? Enjoy live music and salsa dance lessons at Pier 62, courtesy of Dancing Till Dusk. 6 to 8:30 p.m. All ages are welcome for this free event. Live music and salsa dancing at Pier 62, Friday night, August 2nd. Visit waterfrontparkseattle.org to sign up and for information on more free events at Pier 62 happening all summer. The new Seattle waterfront is being built for you, so come and enjoy it. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, Brock. Got a handful of minutes left on this show. Mike Lefko, Brock Heward with you. Got some NFL things to talk about. Still bantering around about ranked. There was one suggestion on the Mac and Jack's text line. Get rid of ranked. Salk's not here. Get rid of ranked. We could rank getting rid of ranked. Also, are there any stipulations that ranked has to be 5 things plus numerous
more any
mentions?
Stipulations in
Well,
ranked?
it's never just 5 things.
Right, plus numerous. Could you just be like ranked? This is the thing. Done.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You can do whatever. I mean, I really
Maybe
think
that's
that
gonna
if we've
happen
learned
today.
anything from the years of ranked, that you can do whatever you want, really.
And then people are
the
going to be
rules
mad
change.
regardless.
Got a question for you, Lefko.
Yeah.
I know one of the things you're bantering around was EA Sports College Football, which you're playing. You built the Dynasty team with all of us in the building, which is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, Brock doesn't seem to like that.
If you could travel with me to any venue in any game, where would you want to go?
To call a game?
To be up in the booth with me and Benetti. If I said, you know what, Lefko, you're such a neat guy. You're such a sweetheart. You're so kind. You put up with all of us. You put up with me. Even though today I haven't really done much to you. I haven't brought up, off the air, I guess.
Well, I figured you were waiting for this.
Yeah, no. I'm not.
Yeah.
No. But all the grief I give you, you know what? You're going to pick your game, and you can come in the booth and hang out in our production meetings and be around me and Benetti and the crew if you'd want to. I don't even know if that's fun for you. You'd be like, no thanks. I'd rather just paddleboard for an entire weekend.
Probably. Yeah.
But if you could go anywhere in college football, where would you want to go? What stadium, what venue?
A night game at Tiger Stadium.
Oh, down at LSU?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Absolutely.
cool. Pretty cool. Not going to happen with the old Fox because there's no SEC on Fox.
Game.
But I know. I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been
you're
there, done
changing
it.
the rules. Yeah.
No. Absolutely not doing it. No, not doing that. But that would be you would be. It's a different human experience.
What teams do you even call now? I cannot keep track of the conferences or who has whose rights or any of that. Like where are you going this year?
Well, let's see. 4 of the Pac-12 teams went to the Big Ten. 4 went to the Big 12.
Yep.
So really, the Pac-12 is the Pac-8 that's just been infiltrated into the Big 12 and the Big 10. So all Big 10, all Big 12. All Big 10, all Big 12. And really, for our crew, I think Joel and Gus will have Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State almost every week.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason and I will be at like the Oregons, the Utahs, kind of that Big 12 or Big 10 team that isn't named, or Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State. So, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good. Be a good year.
Brock, how do you feel about that thing that I shared with you? Our college football dynasty. I put a lot of effort into it. I'm very proud of this.
I think it's kind of silly. Like, I'll give you a Wyman and just be honest with you. Like, I think it's kind of silly. Yeah.
You know
but I'm
what?
some lineman and
It's
Stacey Ross
fun.
does what? The quarterback?
So this was a topic that we all threw out there in our sports pit, and you can create a team. I know your son's probably playing it, right? You can make your own team on Team Builder. It's for the kids, Brock. It's for the kids. So I made our Seattle Sports logo, made the uniforms, made a cool stadium, and then put all of us in the building on a team.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm sorry that you didn't win the starting quarterback job.
It's okay.
You know, you were the center. You embraced that position change well. You won the Remington. You beat out Parker Brailsford, so congrats.
Heck yeah, I did.
Yeah.
What position am I?
Mora, wide receiver. Deep play threat, by the way.
After you saw
With
me
the
run,
hands,
you put me at wide receiver?
With the hands, I'm telling you. No,
I'm like
that's-
Jake
I had
Bobo.
to do it. Yeah.
I'll be better in game.
What do you think? What would be, name some positions, Brock, for people at our station?
Wyman got to be a linebacker.
Clearly a kicker. Yep, that's where he is.
Clearly a kicker.
Dave
Okay.
Wyman's a kicker. He loves that position. So
Wait,
Come
what
on.
are you?
Think about that. I went for comedic value here.
Okay.
So this was kind of going to be the ranked. I guess we're not doing this for ranked.
No,
we'll
we're
do
not.
our another thing, right? That's I knew you wouldn't take to the center, but quarterback was too logical for you. That's not fun. That's not fun. So I'm a cornerback.
Okay.
And it turns out I was actually a pretty good one.
Who's the quarterback in the building?
The quarterback.
Yeah.
Matt Nelson.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. You want comedic value.
That's pretty funny.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he would want none of that attention.
Can Matt Nelson even name an NFL
attention.
quarterback?
Yeah, he can. We actually had that game with him.
What is Salk?
He knew.
Is Salk the punter?
Salk is,
Yeah,
along
what
with
is-
Justin, they are on either side of you on that line. Salk is a right guard.
Nice, classy.
Yeah, like undersized, scrappy right guard.
How do you feel about being on a line with Justin and Salk?
Justin's the left guard.
Yeah, we would not be very good. Not be very good. Kind of like this segment right now. Not very good.
Wow.
Not very
All
good. Here
right.
we go.
I think it's entertaining. Okay. No, there are some things around the NFL that we want to get to. Did you want to start with the Trey Brown
I do.
comment? You want to get back to that? Okay.
I do.
Okay. So
Yeah, you guys talked to Trey Brown at 7:45 today, and Lefko, you had a good question there. We've kind of
did.
been wanting to know a little bit more about this, but sometimes the guys play coy, and you asked him about if he noticed just what the biggest difference is in camp between Pete Carroll's camp and McDonald's. This is what he had to say.
We got a little less leeway, I'll tell you that. He'll make us restart a play 4 times. He don't really care about none of that, so that makes guys really lock in, and we hold each other accountable right then and there on that type of deal, because we want to be the best, and he wants us to be the best, and we saw what he's did with other defenses, and we're definitely bought in.
So less leeway. I'm trying to understand the second half of that. Maybe you can help because you've been out there every single day. When he said we're not repeating plays 4 times, or we are repeating plays 4
And
times?
he said he'll make us restart
Yes.
a play 4 times.
yes, they
make you
are. I
restart.
think they are repeating plays.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So instead of just, okay, we'll move on, we'll address
Right.
it in film, it's like, no, you're going to address it right now. And there's a couple of schools of thought on that. Like, I played for coaches on both sides of it. One side of it's like, you don't get a redo. This isn't playing golf with Mike Salk and getting a mulligan on every hole. That's not how it works. So I can break 90. It's a shot at you, Salk, if you're listening this morning on your way to Vegas. I play with coaches that are like, no, you don't get redos. Like, this is the NFL. Like, you got to go, and you're going to see it on film, and we'll critique it then. And I've seen others where it's like, no, you're going to stop that, and we're going to hit on it. And this is probably a first-year thing, to be honest with you. Like, this is setting the foundation and setting all the details. This is year 1. We're going to stop, and you're going to do it until you get it right. So there are kind of 2 schools of thought on that. I thought the telling part was less leeway. Less leeway.
I think we have seen that as well. A few Seahawks reporters mentioned a couple days ago when the fans were out there that some Seahawks players ran back in. They were done with practice.
That would be the hitman, Brady Henderson.
Yeah, that
who
was
wrote
Brady.
about
Okay.
this.
I didn't
Yes,
want to
it was.
miscredit someone.
No, that's
but-
okay.
So, and then Mike McDonald made them come back out and go sign for fans.
Yes.
So it's things like that. Details.
Oh, yes.
And details are so critical, especially in what we've talked about, where you don't want to be trying to think about what your job is when the ball's snapped. When the quarterback has that football, you have 2.4 seconds to get to him. You don't want to be thinking about, all right, what am I doing here? What call has just been thrown out there? So all those little details matter, and it does seem like Mike McDonald has hammered those home with what Trey Brown said with, we're doing this play 4 times to get every single minute step right. I've told you this, right? And Dave loves to bring it up that, if it's a 6-inch step in the NFL, it is 6 inches. Or if you have to be at this spot, it's not this spot and a foot or a heel over. It's that spot exactly. And it sounds like that's what they're doing. And that's what it felt like that ACT practice was yesterday, because they were doing the same stuff for a while. They had the clock, and you had 3 to 5 minutes for each thing, and they were doing it. It looked like they were just kind of going through the motions, but it was a definitive process that whatever they wanted to focus on, whatever they wanted to hammer home, they were doing until they got right.
I think if the Seahawk football fan could spend time around Dave Wyman, Paul Moyer, Ray Roberts, Michael Bumpus, a lot of the guys that have played that are all over our airwaves, the pre- and post-game Seahawks show, I think that they, off the air, would hear a lot of the same sentiment. This isn't good enough. Like, where's the take on this block? To Dave's point, like, you take on this block this way. Your foot is here. Your hand placement's there. Big Ray talking about pass sets. Like, the attention to every last detail. That was, as Salk loves to say, that wasn't the greatest strength of Pete. You can't be great at everything and have every strength. Pete's great strength was culture. Pete's great strength was having these guys wired and ready to play and emotionally, right? And he built so much into that whole conversation we had at 8:30 about the mental and the emotional and pouring into all of that. This should be and is, as Trey said, a whole lot less leeway when it comes to the details. You're going to be on point, or you're likely not going to play.
It's going to be fascinating. No, I know there's some things going on some other training
Yeah, we
camps
also
as
had
well.
we also had the Seahawks mentioned in an article from Bill Barnwell. He predicted the next 10 Hall of Fame classes, and there are some LOB era Seahawks on it. So he thinks Marshawn is eligible in 2025. He thinks that he will end up having to wait till 2027 to make it in. And then Earl Thomas is eligible in, I think, the next year, and he thinks he'll have to wait till 2028. But he does think both will get in. Sherm was the only one that he has making it in his first year of eligibility in 2026. Do you guys agree with those assessments?
What do you think about Marshawn? Is he a Hall of Famer?
He's a Hall of Famer. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Sherm is the first ballot Hall of Famer. Out of that whole crew, Bobby will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Out of that LOB crew, those will be the first ballot guys. Earl, because of the crash and burn at the end of it, is probably going to take some time, and ultimately you're just going to have
position. Clayton always said safety. It's hard.
Really hard.
Okay. Yeah.
That feels about right with Marshawn. 4 years, as Barnwell wrote, of incredible dominance. Right, 4 years where you're the face of the franchise, along with that defense, along with Russell, along with all of that stuff. But he's a Hall of Famer, just not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
It's so tough for me now to gauge offensive numbers because of the way the league has changed. So stats that people are going to put up now, and conversely, how running backs have been devalued. I guess Marshawn, maybe that's not going to be something that anyone comes close to. But now, how do you value a running back in this day and age? There are going to be some really good ones, but it's a passing league. And on that side, because you have the 17 games and soon 18, everyone thinks, you're going to have players with absurd stats that might dwarf what you had in the older days. And I know that's why it's such a contentious process and things like that, and why John Clayton always kind of spoke so passionately about, defending some guys or going to vouch for some guys. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this modern era, who gets in and the qualifications.
Yeah,
because
these
you can't
receivers
compare
numbers,
stats
the
anymore.
receivers numbers are going to be off the charts for the years to come. Are putting up just these prolific numbers and not getting hit the way they did in the 80s and the 90s. I talk about the training camps and those kind of practices and the wear and tear on your body. So these guys should get to play a little bit longer. They don't get hit. They don't get pressed. They don't get grabbed. They don't have stick them all over them like they did in some of the eras. And so their numbers going to be off the charts. And to your very good point about running backs, your longevity now, you hit 30, good luck. So are you going to have a running back that has the longevity of Emmitt Smith, of Walter Payton, of the guys that, have the LaDainian Tomlinson that have these 14, 15, 18,000 yards? Or are you going to have to put some new optics, new contacts in?
Is there going to be a quota, like a minimum that we need to have a certain amount of running backs? Because outside of Derrick Henry, I don't see a running back who is going to have the longevity, especially now. You pass 2 or 3
Adrian
years.
Peterson.
Well, no. After this. So Henry came after Peterson, but who from Derrick Henry on is going to be a Hall of Fame caliber running back? That position might not exist anymore.
Christian McCaffrey, because he can do so much, but again, he's got to sustain for a few more years with a lifespan of running back that just does not last very long.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, so I guess there wasn't too much of a debate on those, but certainly an interesting point pulled up there by Bill Barnwell.
It's going to be pretty fun down the road, by the way. Not only to celebrate what was with those Super Bowls, but to then see, like, the Hall of Fame game is tonight, and there's a Devin Hester, and there's a Julius Peppers, and there's these guys from this era that we're pretty darn familiar with. But to know down the road here, these Canton, Ohio ceremonies going to have a Seahawk probably year after year after year after year with Sherm and Marshawn and Earl and Bobby, whenever, right? I mean, you're going to have quite a run, and maybe even one Russell Wilson if he can resurrect it.
Well, it's like next year with baseball, with the MLB Hall of Fame, or the Baseball Hall of Fame. I just can't call it MLB Hall of Fame. With the Baseball Hall of Fame and Ichiro, we know he's going to be it. And you could build for that, and it's going to be a massive celebration. I'm sure the Mariners have been preparing for it since the day he retired. Yep. So I'm curious to see everything that goes into that. But you're right, to kind of flip it back to the Seahawks, you can have that build-up and that celebration almost every single year, and it is nice to see all these guys come back.
You been to Canton, Ohio, amongst all your different travels?
Yes, I have. When I was really young, I think there was some road trip somewhere. Parents stopped there on the way back, and I'm sure it's changed remarkably because this was 20-plus years ago now. But it's cool, and it might be... Been to Cooperstown, been to the NFL Hall of Fame. I mean, I'm a football guy. I like that. Cooperstown was cool for the setting, the scene where it is. It's just the most random spot in the middle of central New York, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful town, and you really can't comprehend how everyone descends on this place in the middle of summer. But yeah, those are some Hall of Fames. I've been to the Naismith Hall of Fame as well.
Pretty cool.
The most underwhelming. Basketball Hall of Fame, most underwhelming by far.
Yes.
So baseball.
Well, there's
good,
spin around the
NFL
NFL, or
good,
really
yeah.
just a spin around
Yeah,
Seattle,
some
which
Seahawks
is
things.
pretty good. Pretty
You can
good.
rank Hall of Fame. Yeah.
We could rank Hall of Fame. So, all right, I think we have formulated some kind of coherent ranking system. So let's get to it.
Got a list? Time to put it in order.
Fred Dwumfor's house. Top five meals that I have ever had.
This is Ranked.
To be honest, their list was really biased.
Every morning at 9:45 on Brock and Salk.
Top 10 list. I'm not buying
Ranked.
Brock, I think you had the impetus for this. It was your idea. Do you want to tee me up here? Do you want to set this up? And feel free to chime in with yours as well.
Sure. Just behind the scenes, so you all know how this works with the rank. When it's Justin and Salk, it's music. It starts the night before, and then it's typically
just the night before. That was a week-long process.
Typically during the 6:30 segment, that's typically a replay. Then they hash it all out, and they just geek out over all the music. And poor Maura, and just gotta stay focused. Yep. And then so that's typically how it works. And then I have a ranking every once in a while. Maura's got a ranking every once in a while. Lefko, now you got a ranking where you got to kind of just figure something out. And so you are going to rank, since you in the afternoon show are largely embedded down there with the Seahawks, both in-season interviews, training camp interviews. You get more time, face time around these players than any other show, and certainly than we do. So you get to know these guys at a different, unique level, not just on the air, a little bit off the air as well. So I just was asking you, rank your 3, 4, 5 favorite Seahawks right now that you guys get to spend time with on the afternoon show.
Yeah, I'm going to take it back, I think, 3, 4 years. Okay, so basically 2021, after the pandemic, where you could kind of still get those interviews in person. Although in 2021, it was pretty funny.
Have you been here that long?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah,
When did you get here?
Thanks. This is my 4th year.
What?
It's my 4th
You're a
Seahawks season.
senior?
Yeah. I'm about to leave Jim Harbaugh and get sick of his ways. So since 2021, where the interviews were kind of in person, it was kind of surreal because there was no one there, no fans, obviously. But for the interviews, you'd have the guys there at a table, and then the players would have to be way out in the field, and they'd run a mic all the way out there. So we have been doing in-person interviews for the past 4 years. Now they're on set, and you get a much better caliber interview in person.
Oh yeah.
It's the human element. You can play off a guy. You usually converse with them before you come on air a little bit. You get some personality going. It's a lot easier to do anything in person. So I think just to recall interviews that Dave and Bob have done. I think maybe I hopped on one of these at some point, but mostly Dave and Bob have done in person. And this is just on the caliber of the interview itself, not a judge on the player's career. No, I gotta do it because I don't have 18. I don't have 18 honorable mentions, so I need to set the scene here. Because this one,
I like everybody.
This honorable mention is gonna get some scrutiny, but Jamal Adams. It was one of the most insightful, engaging interviews that Dave and Bob did. It was after he signed his contract extension, and he sat there and talked with them about his injuries, about his motivation, about the desire and the drive that he has. And anyone that is a good interview, I'm partial to. We have guys that maybe they're just not natural. They're not as comfortable talking, so you get shorter answers and you don't get them to show their personality. You could never criticize Jamal Adams for not having a personality. He's certainly personable. He spoke his mind. So that one, I think, goes up there as an honorable mention.
I like it.
And that's why I had to qualify. It's not based on his on-field performance.
I like it.
Jamal Adams, an honorable mention, and I'll keep just one more honorable mention for the sake of Maura. Not even deal with 30 of them. Rashad Penny. And Bob and I did this one.
He was always pretty quiet.
Yeah, no, but so this was during the 2021 season, kind of when he started to turn it on. And he just really opened up about the injuries and this unfamiliar situation that he was in. And it is kind of tough, and it kind of jogged my memory because, he retired earlier this week. But Rashad Penny had never dealt with injuries. And so it was such a new experience for him. And you want to talk about mental strain that you talked about and Mitch Garver that we talked about. Rashad Penny dealt with that. I mean, it was an uncomfortable, tough situation for him. And sadly, he just never could stay healthy. But that was a really engaging interview with Rashad Penny. So
That's
I think
not two I would have had. I like it. I like that.
Honorable mentions, yeah.
Okay.
All right, this one might be a little more obvious. I mean, everyone's talked to him. Everyone's heard from him. Number 5, Will Dissly.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that gets on there, obviously, right?
You think he's enjoying his time? He's with the Chargers, right?
I believe him and Jim Harbaugh are a good match.
I think so.
Those unique characters. Never really knew where that conversation would go. They talked to him a lot. Dave and Bob certainly talked to him a lot, and it would go in many directions. But, you get to the crux of football conversation. Although
Billy Bozeman was a authentic dude.
Authentic. That's a good, authentic. Great way to put it there. And I think all these on this list of best Seahawks interviews, just authentic, authenticity, real kind of human emotion. You get something past the, this is what we're doing out here, blah,
Just
blah,
a real,
blah.
just
All
a
right.
real dude. Man.
Just a real dude. And there are a lot of them. And so this is kind of why I was hesitant to do this one, because I know I'm going to forget someone who was a great interview, and we'll probably hear about it on the Mac and Jack's text line. But going to number 4, Maura can agree. We all can agree. Ryan
You're
Neal.
thinking pretty highly of your ranking that these guys are going to sit around listening.
Right.
No, not the
no.
players, fans. If they're like, well, this guy was good, you hate this guy. Because that's
that's
happened
just
before.
Their opinion.
I know.
These are the ones you like.
This is, exactly.
Ryan
The rest of you
Neal.
are wrong. Ryan Neal. Yeah.
Oh, he was the best.
Brock, not too high on Ryan Neal?
I don't know if we ever, maybe one time, did we
Okay.
get a chance to talk to Ryan Neal?
Yeah. Well,
I think back when I was still working with Wyman and Bob, they interviewed him, and he was brand new, and the text line was just like, get this guy a weekly segment. He's amazing.
I think we jokingly tried to. Because he always brought it. Great personality.
Totally natural with it. Totally comfortable sharing. And one of those guys that, so the reason he's there is because of his ability to communicate. It's not his size, strength, speed. It's not any of those metrics. So you better be really great in those other areas and bring those tools. And he's carved out a pretty neat little career for himself, too.
Yeah, and he was a beloved player because he brought it on the field as well. So I think that helped, but he just always had an entertaining conversation. And, we'll talk about passion. Yeah, that was the passion there. All right, number 3. I have talked to him a good amount. Somehow he just always seems to pop up because he's also a great interview. And a guy that you just talked to, Brock, Trey Brown. Just spoke to him earlier today. Every single time, you mentioned maturity. That was the thing that jumped out when we interviewed him after he got drafted. It was a small draft class. There were just 3 players drafted in 2021. Trey Brown came on with Dave and Bob. The maturity of a guy who had just been drafted, never set foot on an NFL field yet, understood his responsibility, what he had to do to become a pro, and that's carried on. As he mentioned, as he joked here at the start of our interview, I'm a veteran now. So from being the guy who picks everyone else's brains to then assuming that role as kind of a veteran in a young, competitive secondary. Yeah, Trey Brown.
Kind of an old soul, and you don't always
interview.
have that at cornerback. Don't always find that kind of trait and characteristic, and it resonates for sure.
Yeah, so that is number 3 there. This is another just number 2, all-time good guy, all-time good interview, Tyler Lockett.
Sure.
He's just gonna stay steady the entirety of his career.
I just
All-time
call him
performer,
steady
performer,
the broker. He's
steady
just the
interview.
He's the broker.
The broker.
The real estate broker. He's just the broker.
That's, if you didn't know the backstory, that'd be a heck of a nickname.
It would.
Knowing the backstory, it's like, okay, that makes sense. That is a logical name for a real estate mogul in his offseason. But the broker is just it's a cool nickname to have. So, yeah, Tyler Lockett, a good one there. And then we'll wrap it up with another guy that Dave and Bob just spoke to. Actually, interview, going to air at 4 o'clock today. That's cross-promotion for you.
Nice.
Julian Love. Really insightful, engaging player. Came in, didn't know what to expect from him last year. There was a loaded secondary room. Now he's emerged as a guy who is a leader on this defense. But, yeah, Julian Love. All-time good dude. There you go.
Captain and versatility.
There's
right
our
there.
ranked.
Golden Domer.
I don't think people are mad at you. A lot of people were just nominating Luke Wilson. I told him I think that was before your time.
So I know Dave and Bob probably talked to him. I have no recollection of it. So unfortunately, this doesn't make my list. They can make your list, but that was my ranked, Brock. Thanks for setting me up with that one.
That was a great ranked.
Good show. Good show
Great
there. All right. We got to get out of here. Brock, have a good rest of the weekend. The Marine Layer guys are in tomorrow. Meanwhile, Bump and Stacy up next.
Barn. Hey. See ya.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith joining us right now.
I will say this. I don't think it's a surprise that the year the Mariners made the playoffs, Carlos Santana was on the roster. And this is a clubhouse who needed a Carlos Santana. And 2.0 version of that is Justin Turner. I have never heard anyone around the game, whether it be a broadcaster, a PR employee, a manager, a coach, a player, ever say anything but glowing remarks about Justin Turner.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Don't waste a beautiful summer day stuck inside fighting allergies. I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Sinus pressure, congestion, runny nose, snoring, and facial pain are just a few of the symptoms we can help you out with here at the Stern Sinus Center. From allergy workup and treatment to modern outpatient nasal and sinus procedures, we can help. We'll get you the relief you deserve, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
J.P. Crawford, a bases clearing 3-run double.
A Mariners game at T-Mobile Park is the perfect place for date night. It's kind of like Seattle's best show, restaurant, and dance club all in one. It's actually even better because you don't have to wear uncomfortable shoes and you don't have to act all fancy. You can yell and scream all you want. And if you play your cards right, there'll be fireworks. No, like actual fireworks, not metaphorical ones. Although with an atmosphere like this, I think your odds are pretty good. Mariners baseball, Trident's up.
The Mariners are back in town tomorrow for a 9-game homestand, and it all starts with one of the biggest events of the year. Don't miss the Mariners Drone Show after tomorrow's game against the Phillies, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. It's your chance to watch 500 drones light up the sky. Get your tickets and check out the rest of this week's action at mariners.com.